and our senior student will come somewhere around mid-October. Okay, so this is going to be a good, what we call it, the preparations for all of us as an academician, to start planning and thinking of, how to curate and create online content. And before we will be able to do that, definitely there's a certain knowledge that you need to acquire, such as understanding of what is PTG, which is pembelajaran teradu gantian, what is fully online learning and assessment, and also why actually the LMS, our learning management system, is an essential platform that you need to utilize at this stage. And how actually to make sure that whatever you deliver online actually will reach to the student, not only just by reaching it, but it's also the student need to understand all the instructions that we already set into the LMS. That is very important. So that's why I'm going to cover three areas today. The understanding of the blended learning, that's the first one, right? Because the blended learning is going to be the new norms, even after PKP. The fully online learning probably is going to be about 60% of our courses after this from next year. And after that is also I'm going to give you a few tools that you can use. Even if you look at today, the tools that I'm going to show you is a disruptive technology tool, which is it's online. Yeah, I show this to a lot of people. I'm using Canva actually to create tools. Later on, we're going to look at that, right? So, all right, that's probably the introduction first. But I'll give back to Dr. Linda first.
Thank you,
to address probably the dean is here, Dr. Mulyati probably is here, of TBA and.
Okay, thank you Dr. Zulisman. Saya rasa kita boleh mulakan sesi ini. So, salam sejahtera kepada semua yang hadir pada petang ini ke webinar PTG ULearn dan persediaan semester baharu. So, PBPI amat berterima kasih kepada penceramah kita, iaitu Yang Bahagia Dr. Zulisman bin Maksum, pengarah PSTP yang sudi memberikan ceramah kepada PPI. So, kita akan mulakan dengan sesi ceramah dan disusuli dengan sesi soal jawab. So, saya harap para peserta boleh mutekan your mic masing-masing supaya tidak mengganggu sesi ceramah. You boleh buka mic semula semasa sesi Q&A. Okey, dipersilakan Dr. Zulisman.
Okay, thank you very much Dr. Linda. Yang berbahagia Dr. Fauzi ada ke? Dekan? Yang berbahagia TDA, Dr. Mulyati ada?
Tak ada, tak nampak nama.
Ada mesyuarat. Dia ada mesyuarat.
Okay, dalam saya punya ni partisipan ada 23 orang. Okay. Saya ada Madam Chiong ada Datuk Bahagia Datuk ada, Datuk Suhaidi ada, Dr. Lee Mei ada, Dr. Linda ada, Dr. Muhammad Zahir ada, Dr. Rahman ada, Dr. Sazlin ada, Dr. Zawiyah ada, Dr. Zawiyah. Okay, siapa ni, Dr. Fauziah ke? Okay, Nur Azlin ada, Nur Baiduri, Nur Maslian, Nur Aini, Nur Azila, Norida, OEM siapa ya?
Dr. Syarul.
Oh, Dr. Syarul. P08151003 siapa ID?
Fidaus.
Oh, Dr. Fidaus ke? Dr. Sudah ya? Siti Rohana. Okay. Dr. Subatira ada. Dr. Zana pun ada. Alright, okay. Now, let me start with what is the essential things to do, right, before start the blended learning. Okay. This is, I think, one thing that we need to, to consider to look at. Now, a lot of people actually confuse between what is blended learning and what is actually online learning. Okay, fully online learning, I mean, Now, when we're talking about blended learning, which is people say pembelajaran teradu, is quite different in that sense. Okay, so the difference is actually based on the definition that has actually been coined by the by the standard organization of e-learning. So today I'm going to cover that few of this, right? So when we're talking about definition of blended learning, is actually an approach to education that combining between online learning, right, with face-to-face. Okay, so when you are combining it, then there is a rules that actually been set, okay, by the JPT, Jabatan Pengajian Tinggi, and also Kementerian, Ministry of Higher Education. In Malaysia, actually, previously when we're talking about blended learning, okay, we're starting actually with a very low target, okay, which is about 30%. Okay, that is the lowest target that we have to sort of like mix between brick and mortar and also the online learning. That's 30%. So if for example your courses is going to run for 14 weeks, and you are embedding 30% of your courses through blended learning, which is pembelajaran teradun, it means that will be around 3 lectures, right? 3 lectures that actually you're going to conduct through online. Okay, that's about 30% or 4, right? But and at that time, actually, the blended learning actually is just for the supporting. Okay, so for the supporting mean actually is they call it PTS, pembelajaran teradun sokongan, PTS at that time. Okay, so I'm going to go further on explanation on that. But how many percent actually we can blend? You know, there's a lot of the question because of most of us understand that at least we have to achieve minimum of 30%. You know, our ULearn has been stated that when you uploading your teaching plan, when you uploading about 7 resources, you're uploading about 3 activities and 2 assessment, so you are going to reach minimum of 30%. That's in terms of the system calculation. Okay, so I hope everybody understand the difference between the system calculation and also the way how actually we run the courses through blended. Okay, there's 2 different things. Okay, so when we're talking about the minimum, actually it's about 30%. So that is actually 30% of from the student learning time. So 30% from the student learning time, if you have 14, as I said just now, probably about 3 kuliah lah, 3 lectures or 4 lectures, you can reach that 30%. The maximum that actually we can go on blended learning is actually up to 80%. If you go beyond than 80%, then we have to declare those particular courses is already run through fully online. Okay, fully online. So then it requires a different set of rules. Now, if everybody remember now with this pandemic of COVID-19, we are actually running our courses almost more than 80%. Okay, but now for semester 2, actually we still not running our course 100% because of, if you remember, our PKP or our MCO started somewhere around 18 March. Okay, so we already run our courses around 5 weeks. Okay, so it means that actually semester 2 we still running under blended learning, PTG, we call it, pembelajaran teradun. But for the coming semester, right, the next new semester, there is actually the most tricky part where actually we have to implement the fully online learning because of the assessment also need to be conducted through online. Okay, so that is the difference now. Now, the next one is the type of blended learning. As I mentioned just now, there's 2 types of it. One is PTS, the other one is PTG. So PTS mean is a blended learning as a supporting delivery on top of 14 weeks of your face-to-face delivery method. It means that you still have to attend the class face-to-face. You still have to replace any classes that you missed 14 weeks. Okay, so whatever materials which you upload onto your ULearn, it will become what we call it as a supporting materials for the student to study independently. But you cannot cancel the class, right? If you cancel the class, you need to replace the class. If your class fall on public holiday, then you need to replace those class, and it has to be 14 weeks, okay, of face-to-face delivery. Yeah. Now, on the PTG, pembelajaran teradun gantian, this is where actually the blended learning as a replacement for some of your 14-week face-to-face delivery. Okay, for example, on Monday, right, this semester, last Monday, is Yang di Pertuan Agung's birthday. And your class actually fall on that particular day. So if you are declaring that you are conducting your class through PTG blended learning, it means that you do not have to replace your class because of the online content that you deliver through LMS will be considered as the replacement of your class. So this is the tricky part that everybody need to understand the difference of how curating a content through PTS and PTG. Okay, later on I'm going to explain that further. So in terms of deciding how many percent of the total class or how many percent of the total class need to be blended, that will also depend on the academic individuals. Okay, it depends on the penyelaras actually. We don't have to say. If the only thing that you have to follow, if it's blend, you want to blend the class is between 30% to 80%. So it depends on what you believe in and what objective you want to achieve actually, because of we cannot dictate because of different courses require different approach, right, in terms of the teaching delivery. Okay, but usually for me, the simplest way to do is like this. Okay, because of the year one student, right, student who are just entering the university, and they are taking what we call it subject wajib university, for example, compulsory subject university such as the PBPI subject, and all this. Sometimes it's difficult for us to conduct the PTG to up to 80% because of you have to remember this one thing. Most of the students who are actually in the first year when they are entering into the class, they don't have, uh, the background of online learning is very minimal because of we never practice that in school. Schools still believe in our schooling system, right? Our primary and secondary schooling system are still, in terms of online learning is that, I didn't say it's in infant stage, but it's still very immature. It's still not established. Because of not many school does have access to the technologies and so on. Even though the initiative from the government already there, where actually the school has been subscribed with VLE Frog, the teachers has been given a smartphone to start conducting the class online to the technologies and all those. But all the initiative seems not working. But if you're looking at today's situation where the pandemic of COVID-19 is happening, there is actually the eye-opening for the primary and the secondary schools now, where actually the Kementerian start realizing it, how important the 21st century learning environment is, or we call it flexible learning environment is, where now you start seeing teachers are struggling, trying to teach all the kids who are actually spreading around, the country, wherever they are, and teachers start finding ways of how they're going to deliver the learning process. But for me, I'll take this. The COVID-19 actually is considered as a blessed disguise, right? Blessing in disguise. This is the time actually for us as lecturers also need to start defining the way how we start looking at what is the future for the Gen Z, we call it, how they learn and all this, right? So for me, the best way is like this. Probably if you are teaching year one courses, we go to the minimum blended learning, which is about 30%, 3 or 4 times. You're practicing that you're not going to attend the class, but you are encouraging the student to learn independently anywhere, anytime they want. Okay, so that's about 30%. If you're teaching year two courses of the student, then this is where actually you start adding more of your percentage of where you want to leave the student to be independent. It can go up to 40 to 45% or even 50%, with the assumption the instructor and the student already confident enough to learn and to teach in this mode. That is very important. That's why, being as an academician, we need to be prepared ourselves with the technologies and also with the way how actually technology is going to sit in front of us rather than the technology sit behind all of us. Okay, I'm going to show that later on. If you are teaching year 3 and above, this is actually the chances that you start believing in how can I deliver my lectures or my lab session, through online. Then you can go up to 80%, and this requires a lot of confidence level. This requires a lot of practice. It requires a lot of support in terms of material that you have. Okay, so with all these 3 choices that you have, okay, each of the choices that you choose actually requires you to understand about how the instructional design in your courses. Okay, how you're going to curate and create the content so the student will be able to understand all the material that you presented to them, and you also understand whether on that particular session you're going to achieve your learning outcome or not, right, for that particular session. So that is very important. So the difference between blended learning and MOOCs, okay, so people are confused, between what is blended learning, what is MOOC. So most of us, usually we are confused, blended learning and MOOC. So sometimes we are, intertwined with those words. But blended learning is basically a term, used to describe the teaching delivery method. Okay, so remember that when people talking about blended learning, it's not about the technology, it's about a delivery method. Okay, MOOC, right, is actually a platform, where actually all the content that we create, we curate, we place it in an open platform, right? It's not a closed platform. It is an open platform. That's why they call it massive open online courses. So it's just a platform that actually you allow a public to see all your content. Okay, that's what it means by. So nowadays, when you're talking about MOOCs courses, such as Mandarin MOOC, is that's considered as MOOC because we put it, even though we didn't run it 100% online because of our Mandarin MOOC actually cannot be accessed outside yet. Okay, but now even MOOCs also, there's a variant of MOOC. We have a micro-credential MOOC, we have fully online courses MOOC, and so on. So later on, we're going to look at it. So make sure that you are not confused between these 2 terms. When people asking, about what is blended learning, so you should be able to, to explain to them, oh, blended learning is actually just a delivery method on, how I'm going to conduct my class. Or MOOC is actually a platform, where I put all my content and my material, and it can be accessed, by massive people, open, right? So it should not be closed, it should be open. Okay, that's what it means, right? So when we're looking at the PTG, this is actually the initiative that actually has already been approved by the JPT even last year, 2019. And it was initiative number 9 in our education blueprint. Okay, if everybody remember of our education blueprint 2015 to 2025, if I'm mistaken. So in the initiative number 9, in that it stated that PTG as an integral part or integral component in higher education, with 70% from the total courses will implement blended learning by 2025. So imagine like this, from the total courses that we offered in the university, 70% should be delivered through blended learning, 70%. So it means a lot, right? For example, like FTMK. Okay, FTMK probably we have about 300 courses, for example, right? 300, 400 courses. So by 2025, 70% of those courses should be delivered through PTG, pembelajaran teradun gantian, whether it's 30% or whether it's going to be up to 80%. So that need to be set by the ketua PTJ lah, dekan, PDA. You can make that initiative to make sure that actually the PTJ is going to be implemented and it become a culture into your PTJ or pusat or institute. That must come within the organization itself. How you're going to enforce and how you're going to embrace those PTG. All right. Now, after that, this is actually the framework, or sorry, the timeline that actually has been given to us in terms of the blended learning from the depan actually dasar pembelajaran negara based on depan. Every courses offered by the higher ed must be conducted in a form of like this. In phase one, actually, that's what 2015, you know, that's what now is 2019, it's about 4 years back. This is where actually 30% courses with blended learning status, and all the assessment must be conducted 5% online assessment. For example, like you need to conduct your quiz online, you can conduct your lab assessment or midterm online. It's about 5%. This is 2015. So if you look at the phase two, now we are moving to phase two, right? At the end of phase two is 2020. If you look at it, actually, 50% of the courses with blended learning status, right? 50% of total. For example, like if PBPI, you have how many courses? Okay, let's say you have 100 courses. So by 2020, it's supposed to be 50% of your courses must be in blended status with 10% online assessment. By next year, that is where the phase three is. Total of 70% of your courses with blended learning status, 15% online assessment. So that is a lot. It means that you only have around 30% your courses can run through face to face. So the rest has to be in a blended status, up to 80%. That's what in blended status, right? So you can imagine on that. So what is the benefit to you and to the students actually when we're creating this? You know, a lot of people do not understand about this PTG because of they haven't seen the benefit out of it, right? Think about what student can achieve, you know, because we have to remember this. This morning, siapa yang dengar ceramah daripada Datuk Wira, also he mentioned that Gen Z is actually a technology magnet, right? So actually, you know, you are creating more flexible learning environment to the student. You are actually creating more opportunities for wider students, because we have to remember this, you know, in the next coming years, you know, education is not exclusive to a certain group of people. Education has become something that actually everybody will have an opportunity to, you know, to start with. And looking at those, it means that the more opportunity you give to the student to learn independently from their own space, from their own personalized space, from their own comfort of their home or wherever they are, as long as they are able to access the technology, you are actually creating more opportunities to, you know, for our new generation to learn, right? That is what it means. So at the same time, you know, because of nowadays, most of people are multitasking, right? People doing multi-job, you know, multitasking at one time. So, you know, sometimes a formal education where actually you have to attend the class, you know, it can be a daunting task for certain people, you know, because of, you know, that's why opportunity does not come from them. So the other one that you need to look at is actually think about what you can do in 24 hours. You know, everybody, you know, nobody has been given more than 24 hours a day, right? But looking at our responsibility nowadays, being as an academician in the 21st century, we not only come to the office and we teach, you know, our job is more than that. We talk about a lot of things. We become an administrator, we become a lecturers, we become a researchers, we become a consultant, we become supervisors and so on. Okay, so but the one day is still 24 hours for everybody. So if you can work in a smart way, you know, where certain thing can be automated, we call it, or certain thing can be taken over in terms of the delivery, you are actually creating more jobs to yourself and activities that can be achieved at the same time as everyone is, you know, as everyone start, you know, understanding of how busy they are. You know, sometimes, you know, we have a lot of hobby, you know, ourselves, you know, but sometimes you can't do that hobby because of, you feel that 24 hours is fully occupied with working, right? But actually, if we can work smartly, actually, you know, we still can can spend that time, doing all other hobbies that, we can create. For me, the third one, actually, we have to start thinking of, our paradigm shift need to be changed. For me, I don't believe in work hard, right? Nowadays, I don't want to get stressed. I don't want the anxiety to be with me. So I start work smart. Work smart mean actually we start know how to delegate the way how we work, right? We also need to think smart, right? I think being as okay, let's say the peribahasa is like this. I always say this. Malay proverb ada sebut cerdik pandai, cerdik pandai. Tapi ayat tu tak pernah pula kita kata pandai cerdik. The proverb always say cerdik pandai. So cerdik itu bermaksud kalau you cerdik, usually you akan pandai. Tetapi pandai itu tak semestinya cerdik. Okay. Some people might disagree with me, but it's okay. This is just a personal opinion. For me, orang yang pandai ni, people who are pandai, dia belajar tinggi lah, sampai ada PhD and even more than that. Mereka pandai. But sometimes dia tak cerdik. Tetapi kenapa kita panggil cerdiknya budak tu? Budak orang yang kadang ni, imagine that orang ni tak belajar tinggi, tetapi dia cerdik, dan dia pandai mencari opportunity. That's why in a Malay proverb, in Chinese I do not know how you call it, or in other language, but in Malay they always say cerdik pandai. Bahasa tu tak terbalik jadi pandai cerdik, because cerdik is, bila you cerdik you akan pandai. But bila you pandai belum tentu you cerdik, you cannot go backwards. That's what I mean. So both student and lecturer can start redefining the future of learning direction. This is for me important too. Now we've been given opportunity with COVID-19. Actually, everybody has been given an opportunity to start redefining it. So I'm going to talk that in my second set of slides. So what is the PTS formula? This is the PTS formula, pembelajaran teradun sokongan, that the one that you have. In you learn, we set like this: information, your teaching plan, and then you have your learning resources that you created, and then you have learning activities, and then you have 2 assessments. Then your system will already consider that you are already blended. Okay, that is the system status. But with this element that you're uploading into your LMS, it doesn't mean that actually pelaksanaan pembelajaran teradu sokongan tadi berlaku. Okay, ini just a system status, elements that you are embedding. So in PTG, we are changing the formula to 40-40-20, right? The above formula is distribution to 30% to 80% from the total student learning time to 3 PTG elements. Now you don't have information anymore. Teaching plan is not going to be counted as a blended status in the system. It already been included into the learning resources. So your learning resources will become 40%, your learning activities will become 40%, and your assessment will become 20% from either 30 to up to 80%. The calculation is like that. So what is the 40-40-20 details? Apa dia elemen dalam tu? So what is your learning resources which you need to have? Since teaching plan is no longer considered as learning resources, that one is just an additional information, right? So learning resources can be many. It can be video, it can be audio, and it can be your screen recording. It can be your storytelling presentation, whatever resources, learning resources that you have, that considered as your learning resources. Ini hanya contoh saja. It can be more than that. Learning activities is something that student will actually, after the end of the session of their learning activity, you give them an activity which actually going to engage them with, to get the idea whether they understand or not their learning process on that particular session. You can use different kind of learning activities. If the learning activities is not going to be graded, then it fall under the learning activities. Okay. Assessment is something that actually you need to grade, right? Now, this is also another different terms, right? In online learning, okay? When we're talking about online learning, kita ada 2 sebenarnya. Sebab tadi kalau kita tengok slide Datuk Mira pun sebenarnya dah ada pun disebutkan tentang how actually we going to assess the student. Assessment and evaluation actually is a two different thing. Assessment actually is you are assessing the student improvement. You're giving a chance to the student to improve themselves. For example, it's like this. If you're giving a student an assignment in an online learning, the student will create a submission for the first time, and you feel this one particular student does not achieve the learning outcome that you set. If you consider this is as a process of improving the student assessment quality, then you need to allow the student to take or to resubmit the second assessment based on your comment. This is what we call it as we are actually improving the quality of the student. Evaluation basically we are judging the student. Final exam basically is judging the student. Final exam itu adalah proses we judging the student. Definite, right? We judge them, we grade them, and that's it, right? So that's what happened. That's why in online learning, actually, sometimes, right, there's so many other universities nowadays start removing the final exam process. What they call it is a formative assessment throughout the courses. Is to make sure that the student will have an improvement in terms of their quality through a continuous assessment. Even in this pandemic, saya percaya yang berbahagia Dr. Fauzi pun membuat arahan kepada all the lecturers dekat PBPI not to not to go for final online examination. Lebih kepada continuous assessment, ya. Sebab sebenarnya dia ada banyak kelebihan dia lah to improve the student. So this is the example of based on 30%, I ambil minimum lah, a course subject of 120 hours, 120 jam tu adalah 14 minggu tu, with 3 hours, 30% of the total SLT is 36 hours lah. So this is how actually the PTG element that you can pecahkan dia lah. Kalau learning, ini from 30%, ya. So if your learning resources is 40%, because kita follow by 40, 40, 40, so your total SLT hours is actually 14 hours, and you can divide with 3, 4, and 5. You can use video, you can use interactive activity. And chapter 8 and 9, you're going to have online class, which is synchronized class. You can do that. Okay, so that's good. This is an example. Later on, I can share you this slide if you want. Tapi I think some of you dah ada lah slide ni, tapi I still can share. You can get. So this is basically how you calculate. So then you calculate lah 40, 40, 20% ni based on berapa persen you punya blended level. If you go to 80%, then you have to divide 80%. Kalau 40% out of 80% berapa? So you akan dapat lah total SLT hours. That's how you calculate lah. So now, yang ni saya tak akan sentuh sebab saya tak akan tunjuk macam nak curate lah. Okay, so I'm going to go for the second slide. So I want to ni lah to get to the second slide. But so far okay. Ada apa soalan dulu ke ataupun saya nak proceed kepada the next slide. The next slide is instructional design. Kita tadi dah pasal ni we go to instructional design. Ada soalan tak Dr. Linda mungkin? Nak moderate ke? Ada soalan? Ada soalan. Dekat chat, ada yang dekat chat tak? Let me buka dekat chat ke? Ada soalan ke dekat chat? Ke saya nak pergi ke instructional design dulu baru lepas ni kita Q&A, boleh? Okay. Right. Now, this is the same slide that I shared the other day, tapi saya nak ulang balik lah untuk PBPI supaya everybody senang faham. Nampak slide? Can you see the slide? Boleh Now, bila kita when we decided to to conduct our courses online, right? We cannot run away from what we call it ID. Bukan interior design, ID nama je ID, tetapi dia adalah instructional design. Dan orang yang pakar dalam instructional design ni kita panggil dia sebagai instructional designer. But this one actually is instructional design for online content. So where to begin and where to expect from this, right? So let me get the idea across first. Now, before this, right? This is how actually the learning process happens. Right? You have your student, okay? You have your student here, right? You have your student. You have your student, which actually you love, you meet them and so on. Okay. So your student is is sitting in front of you. You are the teachers, which is us, is at the center of the classroom. We come to the class, we greet the students, right? You carry books, you carry notes. That's happened for the past 100 years. The student will sit in front of you, will listening to you. Even some of the lecturers will also command the class, saying that while I'm talking, you are listening. So this is actually has been a culture from 100 years ago, when education has been formalized. Schooling has been formalized, right? So at this stage, actually, the lecturers sometimes nowadays, the lecturer will come to the classroom, will bring their laptop. Sometimes the lecturer will carry their tablet. Sometimes the lecturer will carry their thumb drive only, and they just plug it in into the computers which is available in the classroom. They will stand between the projectors at the back and the student at the front. So the teachers is actually at the center of the classroom. The teacher command the classroom. Okay. So when we are in this position of face-to-face learning, we have what we call it 100% command of the class. Okay, we can instruct the individual student to participate. We can interrupt the learning process. Okay, so the technology will actually only happen based on our instruction. For example, if you have a slide, as long as you didn't press the next button on your laptop or your tablet, then the slide will stay as it is. Now, look at this old guy duduk dekat atas PowerPoint slide ni. Believe me, sometimes saya pun buat self reflection ya. Sometimes for the past 10 years, right, some lecturers, some educators, some teachers bawa slide yang sama 10 tahun yang lalu dan masuk kelas, itulah slide yang sama 10 tahun yang lalu. Right. In the era of face-to-face learning, probably, right, the percentage that I'm wrong, probably is still valid, because of you can, what we call it, you can explicitly explain, the new things, in front of the student. You are embedding new knowledge into your old 10 years slide. You can do that because of you're in front of the student. Okay, you can talk to the student, right? When the student asks, about certain fact and figures, and your slide actually will have an old figures, you can tell them that, oh, this is, last year's data, or it is 5-year data. Now the data actually is increased by 10%. You can say that because of you are at the center of the class. You controlling the students, and you controlling the technologies that you bring in. You controlling the materials that you bring in into the classroom. This is basically what we've been doing for many years, right? So you carrying actually an old people with you, right? So I remember in my faculties, I can see that some of the lecturers in my faculty, personally, I say that some of the lecturers carrying about 10 years old slide into the classroom. Imagine that, a faculty that actually should keep up with technology, for example, but the lecturers carrying exactly 10 years old slides. So you can imagine how difficult you're going to explain to the Gen Z, who are actually, they are quite advanced in looking at technologies and what actually in front of them, because information is actually quite vast, just like an ocean for them. Right? So when we're talking about the era of online learning, this is actually the changes happen. You are no longer at the center of the classroom. But I always receive this feedback from some of the lecturers. Oh, so if we using technology too much, then we become obsolete, right? So this is always the worry part, being as an academician. They're worried they become obsolete, they're going to lose their job because technology going to, take over their job and so on. But actually, that perception is totally wrong. Because when the technology has become at the center of everything, you start actually sitting behind of the technology you start you have to think differently now. You know, you need to become an engineer actually in education. You know, you are not going to presenting the student with your old material because of you are not at the center of the class anymore. Okay, you cannot interact with the student real times, you know, because sometimes the class need to be conducted as an asynchronous session, not synchronized session. But your job actually is getting more and more. Your responsibility is getting more and more. You cannot upload your 10 years old PowerPoint notes onto the LMS and expecting the student to read and expecting the student to understand, and you are expecting that the learning outcome on that particular session is going to be achieved. The teacher, kalau you tengok kat sini ada dua apa tu, light bulb. One of them is the light bulb with the box. You have to start to think out of the box. This is actually something that you need to look after. You know, you need to keep up with that. How I'm going to, like this. If I'm not sitting in front, or if I'm not standing in front of my student while I'm conducting the class, how actually this technology actually is going to, you know, to look like me. You know? So the student bila dia buka je LMS ataupun dia buka saja whatever platform that you have, macam kita dekat UTM is Udemy, they imagining that actually they are actually looking at us. How I'm going to do that? So this is where actually the instructional design, and this is where actually curating and creating a new way of content requires you to sit, and more time needed behind of those process. Okay, so then only the students start understanding that actually, okay, this is actually the class that's been conducted by this particular lecturers, even though I didn't see him personally now because of everything is actually online. In front of me is a set of material and instruction, but I feel the student say, I feel that actually I'm still attending a physical class. This is actually the challenge that we need to do. So in this process, as I said, you cannot only uploading your PowerPoint notes only. You need to create a session. So I'm going to show you a bit of my ULearn later on. You know, even though it's not the best example, I can show you, you know, another good example. But I can show you the simplest way how to do it, you know, how to make sure that the student understand all the instruction that you do. Okay. Now, when we are using a technology in the classroom, I love to show this to, you know, to everybody. They call it SAMR model, SAMR model. SAMR model is considered as a disruptive technology. You know how actually technology will be used in the classroom. If you look at it, actually there's two borderline there. Two is below of the horizontal line, another two element is above the horizontal line. The two below the horizontal lines, we call it is an enhancement. I'm going to explain this quite later. The other part, the two part, is actually the transformation process that we need to do. Okay, let me give you an example. The bottom part, the yellow one, they call it substitution. Okay, I born in 1972. Okay, so I'm quite old. So I remember when I attending my first primary school, that was in year one. My school is actually, it's a very remote school, you know. The teachers does not even have a typewriter at the time. 79. I attending my first primary school in 1979. My teacher actually, when they want to create a note, actually they have to write in a piece of paper. They just write it using pens and pencil. They draw using their hands. So what they do actually when they do that, they write in a paper. They will bring that into what we call it a stencil room. Yeah? At that particular year in 1979, the school only have what we call it a stencil room. Stencil room actually, a stencil is actually a machine that actually you need to add an ink into that stencil machine. So the smell, you know, you can imagine that, you know, that black ink. So the lecturer will only be able to create one single color of black. So what they do actually is they create a first template of what they write into a stencil machine to print, to run it over. And after that, once they got that one, they will make a copy using that stencil machine, just rolling it like that. So let's say if you want to make a 30 copy, because there's 30, then they have to stencil it for 30 times. Okay, so that's what. Along the way, if I'm not mistaken, in 1982, 83, I remember that actually that's where the teachers start having a typewriter. Okay, typewriter. So my teachers start using a typewriter. They start learning how to use, the typewriters, and they typing in, and keluar, kertas tu. Tetapi dia nak print tu, dia masih gunakan stencil machine lagi. So dia buat satu copy, tapi dia dah tak payah tulis lah. They don't need to write down using pen because of the typewriters. So they do a stencil machine. Okay, the process still exactly the same. So in 1991, okay, so that happened along the way. I remember, because I remember when I entered my university, 1990. In 1990, that my first year in university in Malaysia. At that time, I'm taking kursus persediaan, okay, di UiTM. At that time, actually, we have this computer. We call it. That's where the personal computer coming in, right? The desktop computers. Okay, at that time, nak menulis kita kena gunakan WordStar. There's no Windows at all. We call it MS-DOS. So you have to insert the operating system first, let the computer reboot, and then after that take out the floppy disk yang 5 inci lebih tu, and then you add in the other software, because of the computer will just have a very small RAM, so everything need to be taken out and taken out. So masa tu pakai WordStar. So the teachers start learning the technology pakai keyboard, keyboard lah. Okay, keyboard tu dah sama bentuk dia macam typewriter, betul tak? It's just substitution. So all this is technology actually. The typewriter is a technology. Moving to the computer keyboard is also the technology. But the process of at that time still the same, except that the technology is changing, but the role of the technology is still the same. The way how the process happening to create a notes is still the same. So the teachers typing in WordStar, start adjusting the margin, the kerning, changing the font size. At that time, dah ada features tu, ada. But the teachers process still the same. After that, there's a printer. So the stencil machine has been replaced by a very small printer. They call it dot matrix printer. The function is exactly the same. You just to create a replication of the notes that you create. So the teachers print and creating a notes, but there's nothing changed of the process. The process is sama, 1, 2, 3, 4. The flow of the process is the same. Now, okay, look at ourselves. It's still the same, right? We are actually adding another technologies just only the projectors. When we go to the class, kita tak payah buat handover, handout. You don't need to print out handout. So what you need to do is actually you're doing it in the computers. Everything you save in your thumb drive, and then you bring it into the class. And after that, you open your presentation, show the student through the projection, and you just make a copy, and student will make that document copy. The process is the same. Over and over from years to years, we only substituting the technology. So kalau kita tengok the definition of S tu dekat secara model, technology act as a direct tool substitute with no functional change. Jadi kita still buat functional yang sama, fungsi yang sama. Then we moving into the augmentation. Technology act as a direct tool substitute with functional improvement. This is where actually kalau sebelum ni, if before this you using printer still lagi, but nowadays kita tak galakkan lecturer to print out handout, so we submit through online, okay, through email, through LMS. But we are in the process of augmentation only. We are not even moving to a different. But the birth to part is the modification of our process. Technology allow for significant task redesigning. So now we have to ask back ourselves: does the technology that you have now, your mobile phone, your laptop, your internet, does it really create a modification in how you does it allows you to significantly redesigning the tasks that you have or not? If you are not reaching into that level of modification, then you are in the two process below. But in the 21st century learning, when actually disruptive technology is there, we have to redefine the way how the technology that actually in front of us, to create what we call it a new task, previously inconceivable. What is actually this technology allow you to create a new task, previously inconceivable? This is where actually the online learning is, right? This is actually where the technologies already allows you actually to to act as a not a replacement, to act as your mirror of you. This is where actually the students start looking at the technology as you, right? If we perceive the technology as a technological alone, then the redefinition process is not going to happen. The transformation process of disruptive technology is not going to happen in you, right? So we still going back, and we still believe that teaching and learning is going to be the same. We call it dulu adalah macam ni, teaching and learning, right? Previously, we always do that, teaching and learning. Teaching, you teach first, and then the student going to learn. But with the disruptive technology, you need to swap. Those T and L become L and T. Learn and teach, learning and teaching. So you allow the student to learn first through their own time. They have their own time because it's online learning, can be accessed anytime, anywhere. So prior to entering your, or student engaging with you, the student actually should be allowed to self-independently learn. So in the online learning process, we actually giving back a responsibility of learning process to the student, right? Because information is everywhere. So let them learn. Then you teach later on by actually to become a facilitator. That's why, nowadays, some lecturers, they don't want to be called as lecturers or teachers. Some of the lecturers, they prefer to be called as facilitators. Your role actually is changing now because you start redefining your role. You are no longer teaching the student, but you are actually as a facilitator. You facilitate the learning process that's going to happen with the student. You are actually validating information that they find. You are actually giving them responsibility to search, to seek the information by themselves before they are engaging to you. You are encouraging the student actually to interact with you more and to arguing with you more in a positive way. So you no longer need to dictate the learning process, but we allow this generation to seek the knowledge and start validating the finding, whether actually what they find is true or untrue, correct or isn't correct. That is our job. We are facilitating the process. Then only you start redefining the technologies that you're going to use, whether it's your laptop, whether it's the computers, whether it's the software, whether it's the tool, and so on. Okay, so this is actually part that actually we need to understand. So now we go to what is ID. So fundamentally, you can think of instruction design as a process of taking information and framing it in a way that make it interesting and easy for learner to understand. This is important because remember this, the student is not going to sit in front of you, but the technologies that actually is going to be in front of them. So if that is going to happen, then it means that you need to start looking at how actually the content that I'm going to deliver through online learning will make it interesting, and the learner will also understand the process and also the task that you're going to give, just like how actually you sit in front of them. That is what is ideas. Okay, so the process is there. Now, so I'm using AD model only. There is so many other model that people use. Some of them use SAM model, SAM model, and all this. But I prefer the simple model. They call it AD model. Right? Basis of instructional design is AD model. You can use others, right? Some of them is more complicated. But as a newcomer, we should not use, too complicated model. AD model can be very simple. AD model consists of 5, not 6, eh? 5 lah, ADDIE, 1, 2, 3, 5 process. One is you need to analyze. Okay, so the first phase of the ID process is arguably the most important, as it allows you to identify the key element that what you need, right? For example, like, okay, you want to curate and create a content for week 2, for example, of your courses. And you want to deliver that through our LMS system. what kind of actually element, what kind of learning theory that you need to embed it in, what kind of learning objective that actually you want the learner to, to gain. Itu semua you can analyze dulu. And the other part also, you need to analyze the cohort of the student, who they are. Are they first year student just entering the university? Are they the second year student? Are they the third year student? Are they the final year student? How actually the student, how good the student with the technologies? You know, uh, all those need to be analyzed because of it like this. Everybody understand, especially the PBPI, because some of you are teachers, I know. Ada guru bahasa, guru-guru tu is actually, guru ni adalah berbeza dengan lecturers, everybody know. Guru dia ada formal education berkenaan dengan apa dipanggil ijazah pendidikan atau diploma. Dulu dipanggil ada diploma pendidikan, but now dah ijazah pendidikan. You actually have an advantage compared than the lecturers who actually coming in without any ijazah pendidikan, because by having a degree in ijazah pendidikan, you supposed to be better than all these lecturers yang datangnya daripada yang tak belajar secara formal berkenaan dengan pendidikan, because you learn about the learning theory more, you learn about the psychology of education, you learn about the psychology of student, you learn about a lot of other processes which actually the normal lecturer who are entering the university straight from considered zero. Okay, so this is actually the advantage for me. BPBPI, you have this advantage, and you should use this advantage to start creating what we call it and analyzing how do this technology and how those instructional design can be delivered through online learning, but at the same time as good as how I'm delivering in a conventional way. So you need to analyze it. Okay. The second part, which actually the D, is design. So during the design phase, instruction design take everything they learn during the analysis phase, and start planning and structuring the content. This is where actually, the role of the teachers now, bila orang kata, alamak, bila dah online, kita dah tak ada kerja. No, actually your job is getting more. Because after you analyzing, how actually the content is going to be, you need to designing it. You start doing a sketches, we call it, okay, week 1, introduction to CCT, for example. What is actually the learning theory that you're going to embed it in? How you're going to deliver the learning outcome for that particular session? What do you want the student at the end of the session to gain from? What what actually the activities that you're going to create to make sure that I will be able to capture the student understanding, for example. If traditionally, when we're talking about the definition of CCT, for example, we write it in a text like what I did here. You start thinking of, how I'm going to deliver the definition of CCT, critical thinking and creative thinking, or you're going to deliver what is the difference between left brain and right brain, in a most effective way. Right? So you start, planning. Does just a single paragraph will be actually easy to understand by the student? You start asking that question. Oh, actually, I'm going to show a brain, and I'm going to divide the brain, left brain and right brain, with a beautiful graphics, and start explaining the student with voice over, for example. Oh, is that more effective to tell the student? Or should I create a video, for example, a short 2 minutes video, telling the difference between, student with left brain and right brain, and so that is actually the design process. You start doing this. So this include, activities, exercises, assessment that you're going to create. You start looking at what kind of visual that I'm going to embedding into the content. How the interface of interface is not so much now in the LMS because it's standard, but on your PowerPoint slide, for example, right? So how it going to be done? Okay. The third one is development process. So in the development phase is where actually your role take into place. You start creating storyboard. Some of them do storyboard, but macam saya malas buat storyboard, but the development I'm creating straight into. So this phase actually create the activities, exercise. If there is a chart, nak pakai chart yang keluar daripada Excel ke, ataupun is there any better chart? I remember when I study, my lecturer give me this one exercise. Create a visual chart, he said, about dia kata an export of dairy product from New Zealand. Okay. If you looking at the chart, ada banyak data. Dia ada dipanggil dairy product, milk, butter, ya. Lepas tu kita ada banyaklah all the dairy product, you know, butter, margarine or whatever it is. So dia kata okay, but dia kata saya tak nak, dia kata I don't want you to represent this thing, dia kata dalam bentuk chart yang standard macam dekat Excel. So he give me the data. But I want you to represent it in a graphical way. So how I'm going to do it? I'm start thinking of how I'm going to do it. So I'm start, you know, creating, you know, ideas. Usually milk, butter, you know, margarine, where we keep it? We always keep it in the fridge, right? Peti sejuk. So jadi apa saya buat adalah saya draw peti sejuk dengan pintu terbuka. So saya letak milk is always in the bottle kalau dekat New Zealand kan, it's not in the pack. So I put a bottle. So jadi dekat situ dia tulis, you know, export milk of New Zealand keluar pada tahun tu berapa. So kalau contohnya satu botol tu dekat legend dia representing 100 botol, dan saya letak satu botol, 3 botol ada 300 lah. Lepas tu butter, so dia akan keluar cat tu gambar. So from that it become a graphical representation. Now we call it infographic lah. So that's how it is. So sometimes, you know, because of that, the role of us bukannya mudah sebenarnya, lagi complicated sebenarnya. Jadi waktu saya selalu argue, you know, I always argue with the lecturer, say, oh, you know, I'm become obsolete because of, you know, I dah tua, I tak boleh nak kata nak apa, nak master the no, it's not about the technology that you need to master. It's about the idea and the fundamental of how delivering the content in the most effective and exciting way. That is more important from technology. Absolute very fast. Today the technology can be very absolute very fast. So why we have to worry about, you know, whether we can master certain tools or not? Even though mastering a certain tool is quite essential, but it's not necessarily that you can do that, because nowadays kita ada banyak help. Anak kita pun boleh bantu kita. Kadang kita balik, anak-anak kita pandai sekarang, you know, gunakan PowerPoint. Dia kata, but can you help mama or daddy? You know, mama or daddy ada this video nak tunjuk. You know, can you draw for me? You know, something. So you can ask that. So for me, no problem. But the idea of getting the message across into the online learning is important. So number 4 is about the implementation. This is the phase where the course is uploaded to a learning management system. This is where actually I'm going to show you, you know, how actually certain courses being, you need to manage how to do it. Why we need to create that, then only you can call them as PTG or online learning, right? So I'm going to show you the difference between it. The other one is actually every semester, by the end of the semester, you know, let's say you are teaching exactly the same course, right? You need to reevaluate back. You know, that's where actually our responsibility, our job is actually continuous, right? I think Madam Cheong and Madam Tan yang memang mengajar MOOC Mandarin, saya rasa dia faham tentang, you know, their role every semester about the MOOC Mandarin kan, nak kena evaluate, kena look at, you know, the content, start implementing. Because when we run the LMS or we run the online content every semester, you know, along the way, you know, we start picking up that actually some of the content that we created probably not appropriate or probably is no longer valid, you know. So that's where actually the updating process required. So your job is actually continuous. So this is where the evaluation of the process is, right? Now, that is part of it. So for me as a newcomer, as a teacher, right, kalau kita tak biasa, if you are a newcomer to the field of e-learning or instruction design, you might feel overwhelmed by, you know, all this amount of information available regarding about the various ideas. But first, it's a good idea to understand exactly what instructional design is. You know? In simple terms, it is the practice of making learning experience effective, interesting, and engaging. Right? So effective means the student know the flow, just exactly how you deliver it face to face. And sometimes you have to make the content interesting by adding videos, adding activities like games. You know, you want the student to play the game first, you know, because of nowadays your smartphone ni sebenarnya in this, there's so many educational apps that you can use that actually will be able to assist you to create your learning more interesting to the student, and also to create engagement into the student by letting them to start learning and start reacting to content that you create by embedding activity that they need to submit, and from there you'll be able to see whether they actually really study or not. So anyone can create an e-learning project, but the skilled instruction designer will build in learning to meet the learning objective and needs of the audience. So that is, the role of us. So the basis for online content, right? The first, as I said, know your audience. AD model, analyze, yeah? Ask yourself and ask your client, who are your learners and what are their needs? And what is 1 year student needs? What is cohort student need? What is how the individual student need? Because of when it become online learning, right? So we cannot blanketed all the students to become exactly the same. Even when we're doing a conventional learning face to face, it's wrong for us actually try to blanket the student exactly. We perceive that they learn exactly the same in terms of the speed of the learn. Because of that's why for me the first thing, right, which is I don't like in our education system is actually when we start segregating the student. Budak yang pandai duduk kelas 1, budak yang kurang pandai duduk kelas 2, budak lagi yang teruk duduk kelas 3. For me, segregating our kids in schooling is actually something which I say no in the future of education. Because of when it become an online learning, this is where actually peer learning, independent learning and encouraging the student to interact between each other is something that actually we need to give back that responsibility to them. The one who are excellent in certain skill need to teach their colleague which actually less skillful. So that is important. And we as a facilitator will always keep telling the student that they have to help each other. The learning actually goes back to them. Once we give a responsibility back of the learning process to them, then they start understanding why it's so important not to become selfish, right? So this is important. So are they computer savvy or completely non-technical? This is also another thing that we need to know your audience, right? So if they are computer savvy, then you have to be careful also, because of they might be better than you. They might ask, they might be asking something which is actually sometimes we are completely no clue about it, but they know about it. Right? So we do not underestimate the students who are actually computer savvy, even though they just playing game at home for almost 18 hours. But sometimes they are better than us in terms of the computer savvy. But we also do not neglect the students who come from remote area where actually technology is not accessible while they are in the secondary or primary school, where actually for them technology is very new. For them technology is quite alien. So we also have to look at how many percentage of their skill. If they are completely non-technical, what support we need to give to them, right? Do they have any devices that they will be able to access? For example, like now, right? With this pandemic of COVID-19, do we as a lecturers actually in our class, do we create a simple survey and asking the student about their internet connectivity? Some lectures not even do that, right? So this is the time actually you want to know our student whether they will be able to access to the technology or not, just by creating a simple survey and tell them to ask them to answer, and from there you start knowing how many percent actually from your total number of students who actually are able to access to the technology. It's a very good data that actually you can use, and later on when you want to create your online content, you know whether the content can be accessed through a higher speed data bandwidth, or actually I need to create a content that actually requires only a very little data access. Okay, so that is also things that you need to know. How much do they already know about the topic at hand? Right? Because some of the students sometimes they are good. They prior to your class they do a research. Some students do that. We cannot deny that there's some student like that. I know majority of the student tak buka pun hari ni kelas, hari ni lah dia baru nak buka our you learn. But that is where actually you need to know your student, because some of the students quite advanced. Now, in the more flexible learning or online learning, we cannot stop the student from actually moving forward. So that's why in our LMS, we never close session. We always open the session. I always encourage my student, if you think that week 1 is too easy for you, and you already proved to me by through evidence that you submitted that you already understand, you don't have to wait, next week to go to your week 2. You can do it, based on your own pace. But for because sometimes some of the students sometimes quite slow, then that is where actually the hand holding is going to happen in the online learning process. So by doing that, actually, you're not going to get exhausted, trying to blanket everybody. For me, the student who are already quite a fast learner, you encourage them to move more. Then you have time actually personally to handhold the student who are a slow learner. So you have more time for them. Because at the end of the day, in the evaluation of the class, what you need actually is at least 70 or 80% of your student must achieve the same level of cognitive or knowledge that you want to deliver. Cuma kita dekat sini kan, sebab tu saya tak suka ada apa yang ada bell curve tu, result bell curve mesti normal curve apa tu. Takut sangat, kadang ada lecturer, sometimes we've been questions, why all your student dapat A? Pun kena question juga. Why all your student fail? Pun kena question juga. So, kita kena, the paradigm shift have to change nowadays, That's why we have to look at assessment as considered as the continual improvement of the student. If assessment or formative assessment has to be considered to improve the student knowledge and skill, dan tak ada isu lah sepatutnya kalau semua student kita dalam kelas dapat A, because we can prove to the top management that actually yes, I can prove that once they attending my class, they are improving more this and they deserve to get A, then we give A for everybody. So sepatutnya tak ada isu lah. Tapi for us, they still an issue lah, right? So hopefully not. The second one is a basis for online content. So you need to separate need to know from nice to know. When you deciding what information to include your course, you have to ask yourself, is it critical? Do I need to embed everything? Or do I need to, just to give a student the gist of the content for that particular week? And the rest of the knowledge that you want the student to acquire, you put it as considered as an activity. I give a gist of that particular topic. For example, the gist is about, okay, I want the student to understand the color theory, for example, why red, green, and blue travel differently to our eyes. Why red color is always capture our attention more. So we give them a gist of that. But but you want you want the student to learn also at the same time, and you want them to know more than what the gist is. So you start giving the activities, So from the activities, the students start looking at, extending their own knowledge. So basically, the knowledge is not only come from you 100%. We want the student also to seek the knowledge. This is a practice that actually the concept of spoon feeding is going to be eliminated. For me, I don't believe that in the 21st century learning or in the flexible learning environment, you give everything to the student. We should stop spoon feeding the student. That's why I said there's something that you need to give to the student, and we also need to allow the student actually to expand the knowledge that you give and let them seek that knowledge from whatever tools and whatever knowledge that they have. That's very important. So will the learners ever need to know this to do their job? That's also important, right? So if it's required, then you have to embed. If they don't know this, what would be the impact? For example, if you think that you embedding information that actually is not relevant, what will be the impact into the learning process? Okay, so that also need to be considered. So separate between need to know, you want the student need to know about this, from nice to know. So something nice to know is an additional thing, right? That you want the student need to know. For example, just now I'm talking about my topic is about color theory, and I'm telling them about the speed of the color travel into our eyes is something that they need to know. But something that nice to know is actually I'm giving them another part of set that I want them also need to nicely know about other things. For example, like why you cannot use why the red color will be better to be used to attract others, for example. So that's nice to know. So you need to know You need to separate between need to know and nice to know. Okay. Now, the next is actually follow basic course structure. Right? Your teaching plan, your course curriculum is basically a course structure. But imagine this. Now, the next coming semester, in August and also in October, the new student who coming in will be registered through online. Basically, the diploma student, we're going to CU problem, for example, because they're going to take MPU subject. And then the first semester of degree, which is going to be October, the 1st October, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a new student coming in from direct entry ke, from matrikulasi ke, from Form 6. But imagine this, because of the PKP, because of the arahan kementerian mengatakan bahawa you're not going to have face-to-face with them, how you want to make them feel comfortable to attend your class online, right? So basically, there must be a cross structure. So I'm going to show later on how I'm structure my ULearn, yeah, as a cross structure. Sometimes a small things, can be very helpful to make them feel comfortable with us, right? Because of what? Siapa Dr. Zulisman ni? Dah lah, PKP, semua kelas online. Tak kenal dia ni siapa. What do I expect from him? Dia ni garang ke tak dalam kelas? Is he, a lion ke whatever it is. So that is actually. At the same time, because of, usually when we enter a class, first day in the class, we're telling a lot of things, right? Rules and regulation, instruction, explanation, and so on. But nowadays, we don't have chances to do that. So how are you going to deliver that through your course structure? And the rest is there, introduction, objective, and content. So, okay. So the other one is flow basic course structure, right? Assessment, summary, the exit. So all this is the continuity of the others that you need to do, right? So that is basically I'm going to tell, right? Now I'm moving into this. I'm telling about this. Okay, this is an example of, because people asking me, Dr. Zul, what is the best way to create apa dipanggil PowerPoint, right? So imagine that you have this kind of PowerPoint, right? There are so many images. The chart supposed to be the center of your image because you want to explain more. You put it very small on the right top. You're using all this wiggly text for the student to understand, and the students, probably they're rabun, they're having vision problems, So legibility and so on is also important in creating an effective content, right? So this actually a bad example that I can show. I know that some of lecturers, they love to change color for certain word because they want to emphasize of the word, right? They want to change, but actually this is not a good way to do it. Imagine like this, as I mentioned just now, color travel in a different speed into our eyes. That's why red color travel faster. That's why, if there is a red color, we always see the red first compare than other colors, for example, like yellow and so on. Because of red travel into our eyes much faster, and our anatomy of our eyes, our cone receptor actually there's RGB, red, green, and blue. It's not CMYK. So red red, green, and blue will travel faster into our eyes, and the combination of color will travel slightly slower. So when you start emphasizing with all these colors, actually you create a fatigue to the student. Student will start, juggling up between different colors into different word. Then ditambah pula dengan you punya font yang you pakai susah nak legibility and readability is difficult to look at. So actually the student, when we study online, most of the time we're going to look at the screen. Screen is something that actually reflective, right? It's different thing. So our eyes going to become fatigued because of there's a blue light that coming up from the screen. So be careful with that. Okay. So for me, the tips for effective learning is here. One, you need to, if you want to use an images, make sure that you use meaningful images. Whether you have a little or enough design experience, you don't need to be a design. I'm going to show you later on the disruptive technology that you can use in instructional design, and you can create content which is much better. Okay. design a distraction-free template. Kita selalu bila kita buat content dalam bentuk PowerPoint ke apa, kita suka sangat gunakan template, because template easy. But not all template is suitable. Kalau macam PowerPoint template yang baru pun actually is quite standard, and sometimes it's not suitable. So choosing a right template for your right content is important. Okay, playing with white space is also important. So ensure that there is enough white space. Sebab tu kalau if everybody look at my PowerPoint presentation, saya letak teks saya kecil je kat sini. Saya letak 3 warna ni. The rest is quite white space, a bit of dot of, a bit of softer color. Because some people say, alamak, dia kata Dr. Zul punya PowerPoint slide, ruang punya banyak white space, tapi kenapa dia tak letak apa-apa? Kenapa biarkan dia? Because of, if, less is, orang kata apa, expensive. White space is a premium, right? In anything. White space considered as premium because we want the student to put an attention into what. That's also important when we creating instructional design, right? So try to break up the content. If the content is too long, right, don't put it in one single page. Sometimes you need to break it up, right, to become section by section. So you have more space, to explain certain things. So because of when you cramping all the content in one slide or one page, it's difficult to absorb all this information. So the best way is something to break it up, to summarize it up, and as long as the gist of the important point is being delivered effectively, that should be okay. Okay, so remember this. Right. The other one is use color intelligently, as I said. Color theory, even though you are not design person, but you don't have to be a designer to be a design person. But we understand that color play an important role in our life, right? Do not deny those that actually in our life we've been presented with colors every day. Yeah, we see different colors in our life. We're being asked to analyze what colors is for us. Even sometimes come to the personal thing. Even the zodiac people is always believe that the birthstone for each month will have a different stone color, isn't it? So it means that color is something very important because if you don't have light, then you will not be able to see the form and the shape. If you don't have colors in your life, then you're not going to see anything. That's why colorblind students or colorblind people will perceive the world around them differently from us. Dan colorblind ni pula ada macam-macam jenis. We never analyze bahawa there is a people who are actually totally colorblind, where they see the world only black and white, not even grey shade. Kalau dia nampak benda tu grey shade, dia still boleh anggap the distance. Imagine if they are total colorblind, where they only see everything black and white. Anything in between, they will not going to be able to identify. They only see things black and things white. So imagine if that is the person that we're going to encounter. So colors is very important. Try to play a safe color that everybody can see. Your student will be able to look at. So that's also important. And you need to maintain the consistency, right, in your instructional design, right? Text, if it's a body text, try to use exactly the same font, try to use the same color. Bold, something that need to be bold, and do not italic if you're not, changing. The function of italic actually is if you want to create something, right? You don't simply create italic because you love italics and so on. Okay, and ensure that your learners stay focused, right? So they must be a focus that you need to create. You make sure that they're not going to divert themselves to other things because they feel bored, right? So they're going to pick up things that you know. This is things that never been done. Ini just example saya tunjuk hari tu. Nampak tak tulisan biru dan merah has become washed out. The day when the teachers stop learning, that is the day when the nation start to collapse. But a bad example here that I want you to remember. Never ever do this in your instructional design content where the background is blue or the background is red with the text is blue and the text is red or a bit yellow. So this is actually an eyesore. it creates more fatigue to our audience. Okay, so thank you very much. That's for you. But I'm going to show you about, why actually we need to create, right, a proper instructional design. Okay, so I'm just showing you a simple thing, right? I'm not going to show you a complicated thing. Why actually online learning? Because of, I'm in my faculty, I receive a lot of complaint from, from students, right? That some lecturers actually do not provide proper content in their ULearn. Okay, kalau kita tengok some lecturers actually tak ada content pun di dalam ULearn mereka. Sekarang ni dengan keadaan all this macam tu, tak ada content pula. Okay, so macam mana kita nak tengok, apa yang dipanggil acceptable content and non-acceptable content. We have to differentiate that because of the student going to learn fully online, right? Starting from this coming semester towards the end of the semester. So, boleh nampak saya punya ni? Can everybody see? Saya punya apa ni? Content web ni? Yeah. Okay. This is actually this semester courses. My subject is digital media design, right? Because I know that I'm preparing the student. I only meet my student for 5 weeks. That between February the other day up to March. After that, I haven't seen my student, and I'm lazy to to conduct my class synchronized. So synchronized. I'm using a synchronized method. So I'm telling my student what to expect from the class. Okay, so before, when we're designing our online content, we have to remember, as I said just now, you have to imagine that actually this is you in front of them. Because if I'm a student now and I'm assessing Dr. Zurisman content, I should understand the structure of what I'm going to learn. Okay, so first I have to design a bit of graphics here to to introduce my subject. My subject name is digital media design. I create a design a bit, and this design actually saya tak buat pakai tangan pun. I'm going to show you, how to do it simply. I'm also giving a student an understanding about the learning outcome of the course. Right? I'm explaining about it, what they need to expect, the synopsis, all the announcement that I need to give to the student is always on top of that. And I'm introducing myself actually to the student. Some people said, what is the best way to introduce this ourselves to the student if the student never met, right? So even a simple basic things in our life, such as taking a photo to tell the student who you are, it is better to to make sure that the photo that you take is the most not say appropriate, but something that from the photo it tells 1,000 words. It must tells you. I think whoever yang pernah attend my courses, I already repeating this. Bila nak ambil selfie, nak tunjuk kat student, kalau boleh jangan ada orang lain lah. And this is just using your smartphone, capture it. And if you think that you don't want to put in color because of, kalau gambar kita color macam my video, banyak lah bekas-bekas tu semua nampak. But in black and white, actually you start removing a lot of things. And start telling the student who you are, and feel comfortable in front of the camera. The 21st century learning is not only about mastering the technology, but it's about mastering the style, who you want to become. Nowadays selfie, has become a trend things, right? People love selfie, but why don't you, keep capturing, the best of you, and start simpan gambar-gambar tu, mana tahu satu hari it becomes something that actually very usable, very valuable, especially now, So next semester, if I'm going to teach this particular subject, I'm going to change my photo to something else. But this semester, this is me. This is what the student is going to see me. I'm still giving the student about teaching plan because I told my student teaching plan is very important for them to know. I upload my teaching plan not only for them to keep, but for them to prepare and to expect from my course. Right? And I'm divided my student into section group because I have so many groups. So the student will be able to choose what group they're going to belong to, right? So that's important. And I'm also providing my student with a lot of books, online books, which is free, which I can ask them to read, because reading is a culture, right? We need to encourage our students to read. Our students are very lazy to read, right? They like something simple and faster and all, but but we need to instill back a culture of good reading, right? So I tell the student that they need to read. And I set all my assessment in one single place like this, right? So student will be able to know when the quiz is going to be available, which group they're going to belong to, right? How many of them, like my midterm is also online, and only the student who belong to the group that I set will be able or will allow to sit for my examination. Because my courses ni ramai student yang enroll yang bukan sebenarnya from my student, other student they enroll because they want to learn. So jadi they can enroll, tapi because of they not belong to the group or my group, because I set the group password, so they will only be able to orang kata apa, buat aktiviti tak perlu nak upload lah, kecuali my student. Assignment also need to have a brief, need to have a proper instruction to the student, right? And so on. So if we're moving into what we call it creating a content in online learning, this is where actually pembelajaran teradun gantian comes in, right? The definition of it. Imagine this, you're not going to replace the class, it's going to be fully online, right? You're not going to meet with the student. Imagine that actually week 1 lecture you are unable to conduct through face-to-face like now, right? How actually I'm going to introduce those particular week to the student. Saya jenis malas nak create video original ke apa semua, kan? Tapi saya banyak gunakan credits kepada orang-orang di luar sana, macam YouTube, saya gunakan Wikimedia. Wikimedia dalam tu ada banyak, nanti saya tunjuk lah Wikimedia to all those things. What is the function of Wikimedia? What is the function of Canva and so on. So what I do is, kalau kita tengok dalam kita punya teaching plan, kita ada learning outcome saja ya. Learning outcome kita adalah untuk the whole courses. Tetapi bila kita sudah run our courses through online, kita kena break up balik kita punya weekly tu, kita kena redevelop kita punya learning outcome on the weekly basis. Right? So ada 3 learning outcome ke, nak buat 2 ke, terpulang. So by the end of this lesson, student will be able to what? Explain the definition of graphic design, understand the history of graphic design, differentiate between fine art and graphic design, for example. So because of I want to introduce the student into my course, saya tak bolehlah letak PowerPoint note saya gedebuk macam ni kat bawah ni. This is some of the lecturer do that. There's no instruction at all. But by accessing into my lecture week 1, my student boleh baca satu-satunya. Oh, rupanya ada learning outcome that I need to aware with. Oh, Dr. Zulizman was actually providing me with basic graphic design definition. Right? But if I want to read more, actually Dr. Zulizman also give me a link, which is go to Wikimedia, right? Wikipedia. Right? That's it. So I giving a student what we call a gist of the topic on that particular week, but at the same time, I'm giving them a link for them to start exploring outside of my learning outcome. If they click more, actually they go to the Wikipedia. So if I click, it will go to the Wikipedia, right? So in the Wikipedia, there's more detail, the history of graphic design, the advent of the printing, the 19th century era, how actually it's being changed, and so on. So in moving into that stage, right? So that's how actually it's being conducted lah. Okay. Right. So let me go back to my course. Okay. So, but at the same time, I found this good video, which actually 80% or almost 90% suitable for me to use. Right. So what I do is I contacted this guy from YouTube through email, because of if you go to YouTube, sometimes you can get a link from them, you give a comment. So I told this guy, I'm very interested with your video. It's very, so I praised them. It's very beautiful. It's, you know, and the way how you explain about what is graphic design is very mesmerizing me. Is it possible if I use, you know, your video or link your video from your YouTube into my learning, so for my student to study from your video? So basically, at the same time, when this is actually a link, you know, it's a YouTube link, but I embedded in. So every time when the student play this video, actually it provide extra subscription into that particular this guide. So at the same time, it's a win-win situation, because the more people subscribe into his video, the more money he's going to get from Google. You know? But at the same time, you know, the win situation for me and this guy is that actually I will be able to use his material freely, but in return he will get more viewers, so he will earn more money. So this is how actually I'm making a deal, because I'm lazy to do my own, you know, because why I'm doing my own, since there's so many YouTube video available online, which actually sometimes very suitable, you know, it can be 80%, 90% close to our topic, you know. So rather than we recreate back, you know, the video, it takes time, you know, I'm just, you know, asking a simple permission from this guy saying, I want to use the video. And he said, okay, no problem, you know, and the only thing he said, just put a credit on the on me, and I'm very happy to, you know, for you to use the rest of my video, and that's why I'm subscribing to him, and my student, once they click this, is automatically become a viewer, and he gain more income from them. So this is how I'm making it. So basically, I have a simple gist of definition of graphic design. I have the learning outcome on the top. Student look at the video. The video is not long, about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And after that, you know, because I want to capture the student understanding. I want to know whether the student understand or not, you know, about this particular topic, because I'm not in front of them. You know, I'm not allowed to see the student. And I'm not doing synchronous lectures. You know, this is asynchronous, where the student will be able to do it anytime, anywhere. So what I need is to capture the student understanding. So I am giving the student an activity in the class. So only when you are belong to this particular group, you will be allowed to access into this activity that you create. So the activity can be different thing, and class activity instruction need to be also short and precise. Even a simple thing, for example, like you know, the size of this file that they need to upload. Also, I tell the student, because you know, the technology is always with the restriction. Like you learn, you know, you only allowed to upload about 10 megabyte, 20 megabyte per file. So you need to set. So you need to tell the student also in a very clear instruction here that anything that more than 10 megabyte is not allowed, and I'm not allow my student to use a zip file, and I'm not allow my student to submit through email link or anything. So I want them to learn at the same time how they will be able to manage the file size, because this graphic design, they have to learn how to manage the size, and all the submission will be there. Now, at the same time, I'm giving other resources, such as my lecture note. My lecture note is not meant for my student to read, because of lecture note is a PowerPoint note, is something that I need to explain to the student. So this is just an additional of for them to get a key point. The rest of the point is actually already inside here. Okay? And after that, you know, I also want to get a reflection from the student. What they, you know, I want to get their feedback, how they feel my first class, because I haven't seen them. You know? So I give a self-reflection to the student. So I expect the student to tell me, you know, it's like a review about my content. So what I tell the student is, today you know, I want the student to get a simple thing. And I tell them, you know, say anything. Write a short feedback, start your sentence with today you know. All students must give their feedback. Non-participant will be deducted 0.5 mark from their formative assessment, for example. So I give permission. So at least everybody will participate. So, you know, I get a lot of different feedback. Today, today I only know that actually graphic design is different from fine art. Today, I know that actually, you know, macam-macam lah feedback yang dapat. Even ada today, I feel sleepy because, you know, this topic is not interest me to go further. So that one I pick up, and I, you know, next semester, bila saya ada masa, saya akan review balik macam mana saya susun konten. Tetapi bila kita melaksanakan PTG, inilah sebenarnya asas konten yang perlu ada. Okay, let me show you konten yang tak sepatutnya berlaku. Saya cuba carilah. Mungkin nama terkeluar tapi please avoid lah sebab saya terpaksa ambil lah nama-nama juga kan. Okay, let me go lah Saya cuba cari konten. Okay. Now, look at this online. Okay, look at this content, right? So please avoid the name. Tapi ini adalah real example yang saya nak you all semua kena faham. Bila dia sudah online learning, independent study yang kita hadapi sekarang di era of COVID-19 dan seterusnya nanti, if you start doing this kind of thing, look at it. You start uploading your lecture note, right? And there is nothing, just a simple task like that without any proper instruction to the video. You're just expecting them to look at the video without a proper instruction to the video, and there's so many video inside within the part. This is actually where troubles come in. Okay, when troubles come in slightly, when the students start not understanding about the instruction that you give, they start confused between what should I do actually for this particular session. This is where actually troubles comes in. So when you have troubles come inside this is actually when students start arguing, or students start what we call it they start arguing about your credibility being as a lecturers. Okay, so this is where the complaint that actually a lot of now I can say so many students actually start complaining about why actually the content of the ULearn is not properly designed. We, PSTP received a lot of complaints from the students actually, from various faculty, where some of the content actually is totally not or nothing inside. So this is something that you need to avoid for coming semester, because of it's just going to jeopardize the quality of the education. Look at this content, right? Just nothing, right? All is just a template, and this is just a template from me, and it's nothing there. So when you start doing this kind of thing, for example, like this, like dear student, attached is the lecture note for week 2. Lecture note is not meant for the student to read, right? It's a supporting document for the student to pick up points. But what happened in week 2 actually that you want the student to learn? That is important. Where is the gist? Where is the topic that you want to emphasize in this week 2? Where is actually your learning outcome for that particular week? What do you want the student to do? So how are you going to capture the student participation in this particular part? Right? Where is the instruction of what the student need to do? This is actually something that later on the system, the LMS ULearn will be able to pick up whether actually you are conducting your online classes effectively or not. Now, this is just off record. Actually, PSTP has been instructed by the TNCA to have a spot check for all these courses and start pinning down lecturers who actually not properly designing their content, where actually as an instructional designer like me will be able to evaluate whether the content that actually being presented by the lecturer is enough or not to be used as online learning. Look at this. Week 5 is actually MCO. Kita mula dalam MCO ni. Week 6 lecturer kita dah mula patut MCO masuk. This is actually the instruction that you give the student. So even if we, imagine that we are a parents and we have our kids studying these particular courses, and then suddenly your kids show you, Mommy, Daddy, this is the instruction that the lecturers give me. So saya tak faham macam mana nak buat. Now, in a proper instructional design, nak tahu, kita nak evaluate whether your instructional, your content is correct or not, is actually like this. Selagi pelajar itu tadi, dia message you personally, text you personally mengatakan dia tak faham with your instructional, selagi itulah sebenarnya your content, your instructional design for that particular week of content still tak betul. That is the rule, the rule of the thumb of whether you're creating a proper content or not. Now, I know that actually it's not easy to start redefining our mind to change, the difference between face-to-face and online learning. But with with flexible learning environment, with people study anytime, anywhere, instructional design has become an essential part for us to study. Okay, so this another thing. Now, when we're talking about disruptive technology, a lot of lecturers will say that, I'm not good in designing things. I'm, for me, I'm not a designer. So I'm going to do the best. Now, this is one of the disruptive technology that I use for my online learning. I'm no longer using PowerPoint to create my PowerPoint. If you look at it, I'm no longer using other tools yang terpaksa download software ke apa, nak buat infografik ke, nak buat video ke, nak buat certificate ke, nak buat yearbook ke, nak buat presentation ke. Saya nak buat blog banner, animated social media, semua kat sini. And I encourage my student actually to submit certain assignment using this Canva, because sometimes my student tak ada software yang saya nak untuk buat designing. Jadi inilah sebenarnya yang mereka gunakan. So kalau kita tengok dekat sini nowadays, canva.com ni sebenarnya providing us even with video. Macam mana nak buat video? Kadang kita nak buat video kan, nak to show 5 minutes video to the student. Kalau susahnya nak record video lah apa semua, canva.com actually dah ada kat sini. Template ni kalau you tengok, in-stream, video ad, slide video, you want your slide to become a video. So they already providing you with a beautiful template that you can use. What you need to do is just to sit a bit and start capturing your content. Believe me, the smartphone that you have in your hand now is actually the most powerful computers that you carry every day. And for me, I encourage the lecturer to use this smartphone not only using WhatsApp, but use the camera at the back, right, as the main function to capture every moment that you believe it can help you to create content. Imagine sometimes you sitting with your kids at home, you get the idea of I nak create a video lah berkenaan tentang experiential learning. And then suddenly you saw your kids kecil tadi main that blocks kan, dekat duduk kan. And why don't I create an experiential learning? I ask them to assemble something which actually this can help me to tell my students tentang what is the difference between left brain and right brain in terms of thinking of what they created. So you record that session, okay, this actually, and you put a narrative on it. So this is actually a template of video that you can do. So nama dia canva.com, you just register and most of the template is free. Okay. The other one is actually infographic. If you think that you want to create for the student, you create your book. Ini presentation. Presentation kat sini. Presentation ni sebenarnya lah the one that I use lah. Template dia macam PowerPoint dan dia boleh di-download ke PowerPoint ke ataupun dalam PDF ya. So if you look at it, there's so many template available here. Beautiful template, right, that you can use. It also will have elements that you can have here, which actually any elements that you want, like gambar orang ke, chart, beautiful chart is already here. So you can import the data from Excel to create a beautiful chart, because in this chart, selalu kalau kita buat chart kan, kita asyik gunakan PowerPoint chart saja. Tapi kita tak tahu, actually there's a beautiful chart that actually I can create, and you just can add the chart and you can change the parameters or the numbers of the chart. This call it donut chart, so it will become beautiful. And so I end my talk today. So hopefully Dr. Linda can take over, and if there is any question, probably I will be able to answer. Thank you very much, Dr. Linda. I'll give back to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zurisman. Okay, sekarang kita akan mulakan sesi soal jawab. So para peserta yang ada soalan untuk Dr. Zurisman, sila boleh mula sekarang. Okay, actually, I have a question, Dr. Zulisman.
Sure.
Yeah, just now you were saying that you ask permission from the person who created the YouTube video.
Yeah.
So my
Yeah.
question is, like for me, I have a few videos that I uploaded in Ulearn. So do I need to ask permission from the YouTube creator?
Okay. The best way, right? The best way is to ask permission personally to that particular person. But usually, right? Actually, sebenarnya sometimes, some of the YouTuber, they are very happy to, for you to use the material as long as it's not for a commercial purposes, because of, the more user is going to watch their YouTube video, actually the more benefit they're going to get, because the more income they're going to get. So that's why sometimes, especially the content that actually very much on educational content, or content that actually we can use as a content, they don't mind if you don't ask for a permission, because we just link the content. When we link the content, actually it goes to their page in YouTube. So some of the YouTuber, they don't mind, because for them, the more people viewing my content, the better it's going to be. But for me, to make it safe, put a bit of declaration, and you can ask permission from them if you want to use it or not. Yeah, my suggestion is like that.
Thank you, Dr. Zulisa.
Okay.
Okay, para peserta lain ada soalan?
Apa Nek Rahila yang tanya saya berkenaan Dr. Zuzman, any plan for Yulen to have a live meeting function? Yeah, because right now most of us use Microsoft, and most of the material are in Microsoft Team, form and SharePoint. So kalau kena spot check, how? Okay. Now, all right. At the moment, actually, every technology will have their own shortfall. Our Ulearn actually also carry a few shortfall. So that's why actually there's so many plugin that actually we disable. Even we disable chat function in our Ulearn, because of, we from our analytic, we found out that actually any real time interaction with the LMS, with Moodle, actually it's going to increase the bandwidth of certain courses. So imagine if you have 900 students and all those, and they are in the live chat. So at the moment we have a restriction in terms of our bandwidth. We have restriction in terms of the capacity of the LMS, because our LMS Ulearn actually based on open platform, which is we call it Moodle. So at this point of time, I'm not going to activate any I call it live meeting function with it, because it's going to be very dangerous. It's going to crash the whole thing, like what happened a few weeks ago when there is lecturers from FPTT and also PBPI and FTNK start having a synchronized chat. They start activating the chat to the student, so it crashed. So the crash due to a lot of issues. It's not only about the Moodle itself, but sometimes the crash due to the bandwidth that PPTK is handling. So there's so many complications that along the way I need to resolve the issues. Even Webback itself now, right, is also having its limitation. So so that's why I always encourage the lecturers, with all this limitation of the technology, you should not be discourage yourself from delivering the content online. But what you need to do is to have more asynchronous learning process rather than synchronized learning process. That I think that's the best idea I can do. Now the other thing is that our LMS is actually is a closed system, is being used internally. It's not moved, so our content is actually not for public. So basically it's quite safe. That's why I encourage, why I always encourage the lecturers to use our LMS platform, because of it's internal platform. But once you start uploading your content to Google Classroom, you start uploading it to other platforms such as Apple iTunes U and all this, definitely you will be scrutinized by the legal teams and so on. So that is the dangerous why I always tell the lecturers, even though our LMS does have a does have a shortfall,
but using it in a more efficient way rather than you start using a public domain such as Google Classroom, or you put all the material in Microsoft Team. We're going to have a Microsoft Team training actually very soon, and we're going to see the terms and conditions that they set in that part is going to be very scary. That's why I discourage people to go beyond that. Boleh ya, Dr. Nik Rahila. Okay, from Datuk Suhaidi, Canva versus Prezi are online presentation as alternative to PowerPoint. You comment about Prezi as reference. Okay, Prezi, ini Canva. Prezi also actually can be used. Prezi is also quite good. Cuma Prezi ni dia macam mana ya? Prezi dia kaedah dia lain sikit. Dia lebih kepada zooming in information ya, Datuk. But it's very interesting. Dulu saya pernah buat training on Prezi. For me, if any PBBI lecturers want to ask for a very specific tool for me to train, such as how to use Prezi effectively. Sebab Prezi ni, the difference is that they are quite, they are fly-through type of presentation. You can have a multi-layered of environment where you zoom in. You can focus into certain things. So Prezi is also a good presentation tool. But the way how it works is different from Canva. Canva is just like a PowerPoint, right? Normal PowerPoint. But both of them actually is online, is cloud. You tak perlu risau nak alamak tertinggal nota dekat laptop ni. As long as you ada mobile phone ke, you ada internet access, you boleh access sebab all the content will be saved in cloud on your account. Okay, boleh Datuk? Datuk boleh jawab. Lagi? Ada ke soalan yang saya Any more?
Tadi Dr. Zulisman ada kata PSTP ada memantau staff punya U-Learn tentang konten tu. So my question is, kemungkinan staff tidak menggunakan U-Learn tapi menggunakan e-learning tools yang lain seperti Google Classroom, Padlet. So is it compulsory to use U-Learn?
Yeah, okay. U-Learn is considered as our official LMS platform. So, for example, if the lecturers insist to use other platform outside, what you need to do is actually to link, your, for example, like Prezi ke ataupun Canva tu you nak pakai online ataupun you pakai Google Classroom. So make sure that actually the URL of that account must be put into that. For example, week 3 you tak buat content dekat U-Learn, tapi content tu you buat kat Google Classroom, for example kan. So just linkkan sahajalah dia punya link tu tadi mengatakan bahawa you buat pada minggu tu adalah, kalau tak nanti kita tak boleh nak detect whether actually you conducting the class or not because you are not declaring. Sebab kita tidak boleh access kepada your Google Classroom because of it's not an official platform. So disebabkan dia tak official platform, so kita di PSTP tak boleh nak memantau sama ada minggu ketiga tu betul-betul you laksanakan tidak, sebab itu tak kosong saja. So bila kita kata minggu ketiga sedangkan sepatutnya ada online class sebab nanti ada tapi kosong, maka secara automatik PSTP assume that you are not doing the class. That's why the best way is actually to link everything. Even your WhatsApp communication with student and there's an important discussion that you do, right? Because kita tak ada chat function. Buatlah beberapa snapshot mengatakan bahawa on that particular day you actually ada buat discussion to WhatsApp atau Telegram tu. Dan bagi link tu saja supaya kita at least kita tahu actually dia conduct the class tapi it goes through a different platform.
Tapi maklumat tu tak diberitahu kepada staff.
Ya, saya faham macam ni. That's why saya kata you need to understand the macam ni maklumat tu it need to go. That's why saya lebih suka pergi ke fakulti to fakulti, to explain how actually going to construct and create and curate the content rather than you dengar hearsay daripada orang lain kan. Sebab kerana benda tu nanti akan menyebabkan misunderstanding, misconception and all this. Tapi bagi saya galakkan kalau boleh, everything biarlah di dalam U-Learn supaya, you boleh nampak lah the structure tadi tu. I know that, some lecturers, they are more comfortable using, other platform. Tapi kena linkkan balik lah platform tu dekat dalam U-Learn tadi supaya kita boleh tahu bahawa you are actually the process of delivering the content itu berjalan lah macam tu.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. So, peserta yang lain ada soalan lagi tak?
Ada soalan?
Hello.
Internet
Sebenarnya
lain
saya ada satu soalan.
one stop center lah. One stop center.
Dr. Zul. Hello.
Ya, Dr. Siapa
Okey,
ni?
untuk saya Azila. Okey, nak tanya. So maksudnya kalau kita menggunakan Yulen, sudah cover 100% PTG lah.
Sebenarnya kalau dia macam ni, PTG tu ada dua perkara yang kita kena faham. Yang pertama adalah the system capture elemen yang saya sebut awal tadi, iaitu 40 40 20 tu. Okay, di mana sistem akan capture lah, sebab sistem kita sekarang ni saya dah create slightly different from previous semester, macam mana nak capture PTG tadi tu. Okay, the second one is actually kita kena tengok pula the delivery of the content tadi tu. Strukturnya, simpelnya betul ke tak betul. So daripada situ sebenarnya taklah dia akan follow 100% macam saya punya, tetapi at least bila saya buat spot check, bila saya tengok tu arahan dia kebentuk arahan pada pelajar tadi, sebab dia dah untuk online tadi adalah betul. Jadi waktu you nak declare, sebab tu kadang ada lecturer macam ni, dia ingat contohnya dia nak buat 30%, dia nak buat 30% PTG saja atau buat 40%, dan dia buat pada minggu ke-5, minggu ke-7, minggu ke-12. Bila tengok dekat Yulen, itu saja yang diisi. Kebanyakan lecturer macam itulah. Itu kalau kita follow the system lah, sistem akan calculate to enough lah PTG. Tetapi di dalam pembelajaran secara online yang you akan hadapi ni daripada bulan Ogos, semester khas bulan Ogos dan Oktober, sebenarnya kita tak melalui PTG. Kita sudah melalui fully online. So bila fully online maksudnya minggu pertama sampai minggu 14 semua konten mesti ada. Itulah preparation sekarang ni yang pensyarah kena ready, di mana arahan daripada Prof NCA pun untuk PSTP memantau ada tak benda tu berlaku. Dulu waktu semester 2, kalau kita tengok kita ada 5 minggu pertama yang kita sebenarnya tak ada konten pun tak apa, betul tak? Sebab kita punya MCO minggu ke-6 kan, masuk minggu ke-6. Jadi sekarang lecture ada minggu ke-6, ke-7, ke-8, ke-9, ke-10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Ada 7 minggu dia masukkan. Tapi untuk semester khas, diploma masuk Ogos dan juga undergrad September, your content will be expected to have every week, memang kena ada content. Itu sebab kita PTG ni nanti akan berlaku bila contohnya totally pelajar dah masuk balik dan kita akan mungkin tak 100% fully online lah. Tapi at the moment arahan KPT adalah kita tidak dibenarkan menjalankan PNP, PDP, pembelajaran dan pentaksiran secara face to face. Maka at the moment arahan adalah semua perlu di-deliver secara online. Bila arahan tu mengatakan deliver secara online sampai akhir tahun, bermaksud setiap minggu konten yang akan berjalan tu mesti ada isi lah dekat Yulen ni lah.
Dr. Zul.
Yeah.
Zen here. Zen. Dengar?
Zen.
Apa nak tanya, okay, so SKP ni dia memang fully online kita tak face to face untuk Ogos ni.
Untuk yang mana PKP ni? Okay.
SKP.
So far sekarang ni sebenarnya untuk yang sekarang ni adalah fully online.
Nah, untuk yang kemasukan baru, pelajar baru yang untuk diploma.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, arahannya still fully online sebab kita tidak dibenarkan untuk face to face sehingga akhir tahun.
Maknanya registration diorang pun online and we will not meet them.
Online.
So we will meet them online sahaja.
Yes, iaitu okey untuk seperti pendaftaran pelajar baru adalah secara online. Pelajar juga akan mula mendaftar mata pelajaran secara online. Lepas tu pelajar juga akan melalui minggu haluan siswa secara online, dan pada waktu tu kelas memang keseluruhannya sehingga akhir tahun adalah secara online. Itu adalah arahan yang so far yang masih diguna pakai oleh UTM yang diarahkan oleh KPT lah. Tapi arahan PKPP yang terbaru untuk pemulihan ni, pihak KPT memang masih mengguna pakai, mengatakan bahawa semua universiti diarahkan untuk melaksanakan pengajaran pembelajaran secara online sehingga akhir tahun, Disember 2020.
Yeah. So is there any mechanism that we will meet them before our class online, so that they will be more prepared in facing us as their lecturers lah. Maknanya Ada tak mekanisme begitu? Ataupun kita just terus je macam redah je jumpa dia orang first day tu?
Okay. So far yang saya tahu, waktu minggu haluan siswa tu nanti, if I'm not mistaken, saya tak pasti, yang ni kena tanya dekan lah, Dr. Fauzi sendiri, sama ada, tapi di fakulti dengan ceritanya kata mereka akan buat lah untuk setiap fakulti tadi tu. Dan sepatutnya di situ nanti akan ada satu sesi di mana pelajar akan diberikan taklimat sebenarnya. Saya tak tahu mekanismenya macam mana. Diberikan taklimat bahawa they have to expect the unexpected tadilah, iaitu bahawa mereka tidak perlu hadir ke universiti dan semua pembelajaran secara online. Now, apa yang berlaku adalah pelajar-pelajar ini nanti mereka will be assigned with PA, iaitu penasihat akademik. Jadi apa yang saya dimaklumkan adalah penasihat akademik akan membuat taklimat lah kepada pelajar-pelajar mereka tadi itu berkenaan dengan pelaksanaan PDP secara dalam talian sepenuhnya. Dan mereka sebenarnya saya sedang membangunkan online U-Learn guidebook untuk pelajar nanti bila pelajar baru tu masuk. PDF book tu, e-book tadi akan dimasukkan sekali dalam buku panduan akademik, pelajar akan dapat slip pendaftaran secara online. Pelajar juga akan dapat dia punya PA, penasihat akademik mereka. Pelajar juga akan mendapat senarai mata pelajaran yang diambil dan dia akan dapat buku panduan akademik secara dalam PDF, dan juga kami di PSTP akan sertakan sekali dengan guideline macam mana mereka nak run pembelajaran secara dalam talian menggunakan U-Learn gitu. Itu yang so far yang saya tahu lah.
Okay.
Itu yang saya boleh jawab lah, Dr. Zaid. Itu sajalah. So,
penasihat akademik ni kena liaise betul-betul dengan PBPI lah untuk SKP punya ni kan? Yes.
Yeah, betul. Betul. So, saya harapkan mungkin TDA lah, Dr. Mulyati kan, TDA baru ya. Untuk mungkin boleh buat ni lah, mula boleh liaise dengan TDA fakulti. Sebab saya tahu PBPI akan ramai student yang mengambil kursus, beribu pelajar dia semua. Jadi untuk PBPI handle mungkin akan tak cukup tangan. So jadi saya mohon kalau Dr. Mulyati ada kat sini, nanti saya akan beritahu Dr. Mulyati lah secara personal tentang perancangan bagaimana sebenarnya pelajar-pelajar ini tadi, sebab mereka akan ambil subjek MPU kan, budak diploma masuk akan ambil subjek itu dulu kan. Jadi saya harap Dr. Mulyati nanti mungkin boleh bekerjasama dengan fakulti untuk mendapatkan berapa ramai pelajar-pelajar ini tadi. Dan kalau contohnya lah kita perlukan pelajar untuk buat sesi macam ni kan, kita mungkin boleh adakan beberapa siri. For me, I'm willing to help PBPI. Kalau contohnya PBPI perlukan saya untuk memberi taklimat kepada pelajar what to expect lah dari segi pembelajaran secara online pun no problem. Saya boleh bagi taklimat lah kalau diperlukan.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay. Any more? For me, macam ni I always open for, for me, I open my windows, I open my doors to everybody secara personal. Saya satu je, do not hesitate to contact me personally, no problem, untuk bertanyakan apa-apa soalan yang mungkin tidak faham berkenaan bagaimana nak membangunkan konten. My responsibility, my job is always to help everybody here to master the skill, and I will help you to strategize macam mana sebenarnya nak buat konten. Saya punya cara sebenarnya saya lebih suka personal sebab saya boleh buat hand holding. Kalau contohnya Dr. Zen minta bantuan saya, Dr. Zul, saya nak buat U-Learn content untuk minggu 1 hingga minggu 4. Betul kan saya mengajar this particular courses. Boleh tak bantu saya macam mana nak strategize, nak dapatkan idea what to do? Sebenarnya please by all means set lah meeting dengan saya. Saya boleh duduk sekali dan saya boleh buat hand holding sebenarnya, no problem lah. Kalau ada 2-3 orang mungkin contohnya nak bangunkan sekali, contohnya di subjek PBPI kan is a team teaching kan, macam CCT ke atau bahasa ke apa semua dah rasanya diperlukan. If you need me to be with you and construct macam mana buat course online, boleh. Now, it's proven successful sebab saya dah buat hand holding ni kepada a small group of lecturer FTMK yang mengajar subjek Doctor of IT dan saya hanya datang 3 sesi untuk membantu mereka membangunkan konten dalam U-Learn tu tadi, dan actually dia quite successful membangunkan dalam masa 3 hari pun, dan dah sampai minggu ke-7 pun dia buat. Okay? So if you need me to help you to tengok balik all the content, macam mana nak deliver everything, please do not hesitate to call me. I'm happy to help.
Assalamualaikum Dr. Zul.
Saya
Azlin. Saya nak tanya Dr. Zul tentang tugasan yang penilaian berterusan yang akan dibuat pada week 13 dan week 14 untuk final examination. Boleh tak Dr. Zul beri kami a guide like step by step how to go about, sebab kan macam kita nak shoot soalan tu pada week 13. How to go about sebab kami ada banyak different programs. Can you show in dalam Yulearn contoh Dr. Zul?
Okay.
Terima kasih.
PBPI sebenarnya sama macam FTMK, you all tidak melaksanakan peperiksaan secara online ya. Okay. Apa yang you buat adalah kita fallkan dia di bawah kategori continuous assessment, betul ya? Okay. Now, bila kita buat continuous assessment ni sebenarnya hari tu ada banyak salah tafsir sebenarnya daripada pihak pentadbiran di fakulti ya, even di FTMK sendiri sebenarnya mereka ada melakukan kesilapan berkenaan dengan taksiran apa yang dipanggil sebagai continuous assessment. Continuous assessment ini adalah kita kategorikan dia adalah untuk kita membuat assessment secara berterusan untuk menggantikan 30% ataupun 40% final exam tadi. Jadi bila kita sudah tak declare ia sebagai final exam, maka sebenarnya dia tidak terikat kepada peraturan peperiksaan. Bila dia tidak terikat kepada peraturan peperiksaan, ini maklumat daripada PPSKR iaitu ni ISO. Okey, di dalam continuous assessment tadi sebenarnya kita boleh gantikan final exam yang 40% ke apa tadi dalam bentuk apa juga continuous assessment, iaitu penambahan daripada coursework tadilah. Contohnya lah macam FTMK sebagai contoh mudah lah, kalau PBPI mungkin saya tak mungkin 40% kan yang final exam apa boleh, tapi kita tengok macam ni. FTMK contohnya my subjek ni digital media design, kita ada 30% final exam. Okey, dalam 30% final exam itu tadi kalau tengok kat sini assessment saya, sebenarnya final exam saya cover kognitif LO1 saja sebab dia lebih pada level kognitif pengetahuan ni. Tetapi saya rasa bahawa my midterm examination yang saya buat kepada pelajar ni sebenarnya dah cover pun LO1 sebab bila exam, final exam memang dah cover kognitif LO1. Jadi apa yang saya buat adalah saya 30% tu saya buat pecahan jadikan dia macam ni, iaitu saya ada 30%. Bila kita ada 3% markah ekstra ni, kita sebagai pensyarah yang mengajar, kita kena tengok. Kalau kita nak pecahkan final exam tadi kepada continuous assessment, nak tukarkan dia menjadi assignment saja, 2 assignment, iaitu markah dia 15-15, menjadi 30%. Kita kena moderate dengan peer kita lah. Lantiklah seorang peer, macam FTMK dia lantik peer, kawan untuk moderate. Tengok soalan assignment tadi, sebenarnya dengan markah 15% bagi tadi dia justify tak dia nak bagi assignment ni dengan 15 markah. Itu penting. Kalau justify dan peer tadi kena review lah soalan tadi, okey, soalan assignment ini sudah boleh digunakan sebagai untuk mencapai you punya assessment menggantikan peperiksaan 15%. Dan satu lagi mungkin you buat assignment yang satu lagi pun boleh. Satu lagi ada orang buat adalah 15% assignment, okey, ataupun 10% assignment, 20% ujian akhir. Ujian akhir itu ibaratnya macam you buat satu lagi midterm test. Tetapi you tak perlu buat midterm test tu di minggu peperiksaan. You boleh buat pada study week pelajar pun, sebab pelajar bila dalam keadaan online macam ni, sebenarnya study week tu sebenarnya dah tak dikira pun sebab pelajar dah belajar kat rumah kan. Jadi buat apa dia nak ada break, nak beritahu sebab dia adalah continuous assessment. Jadi tak perlulah tunggu sampai final exam baru nak buat ujian akhir, sebab tu dipanggil ujian akhir. Itu cara nak buat. Macam saya dekat sini, saya tak masukkan lagi. Okey, saya punya ujian saya tak, okey, kalau you tengok sini, saya punya assessment memang saya tak masuk lagi. Okey, sebab saya belum buat penggantian 30% peperiksaan akhir. Tetapi apa yang saya buat adalah saya buat dua pecahan saja. Iaitu yang pertama, saya buat pecahan kepada 10% assignment. Saya tambah assignment lah. Sekarang pelajar ada 2 assignment, saya tambah satu lagi assignment, iaitu 10% untuk menggantikan final exam. So saya ada lagi 20%. Jadi yang 20% tu, saya minta pelajar saya untuk buat ujian akhir dipanggil, bukan peperiksaan akhir. Bila dia ujian akhir, dia dah tak termaktub di dalam peraturan peperiksaan. Saya boleh laksanakan dia selepas budak-budak tadi mungkin habis 14 minggu lah, saya bagi dia 4 minggu, saya kata saya negotiate dengan student, saya kata okay, since you all pun dah belajar kat rumah, study week pun sama, boleh tak saya kata saya buat ujian akhir tapi saya buat multiple choice question another 30% ataupun berapa persen dengan markahnya 20%. Itulah cara saya buat, dan apa yang saya reportkan, documentedkan ke fakulti adalah daripada dekat teaching plan yang kita upload ke dalam SMP itu kan, kita ubah kita punya, saya tak ubah 70% markah tau, itu saya tak ubah. Saya ubah yang 30% final exam tu, saya ubahkan kat situ dan saya notakan kat situ, iaitu saya kata bahawa peperiksaan akhir telah digantikan dengan continuous assessment, iaitu satu assignment berjumlah 10% dan ujian akhir dalam bentuk multiple choice question berjumlah 20%. Itulah cara saya buat. Jadi saya maklumkan kepada pelajar begitu, saya kata, dan dia akan menggantikan final exam. Tapi you boleh letak benda tu di dalam online lah, di dalam Udemy lah untuk buat lah. Dan kat sini nanti you akan nampak lah, saya akan ada kat sini, iaitu satu section ni saya akan add, saya panggil adalah assignment 3, lepas tu saya buat bracket, iaitu penggantian kepada final exam sebanyak 10%. Lepas tu saya akan buat satu lagi macam midterm ni, saya tulis macam midterm ni, tapi saya tulis ujian akhir. Saya tak panggil peperiksaan ni, saya panggil ujian akhir. Saya kata 20% sebagai penggantian kepada peperiksaan akhir. Itu je yang saya buat. Adakah saya menjawab? So the marking, the marking weightage tu kena justify lah. Kena cari kawan yang boleh justify. Macam di FTMK memang HOD akan suruh kita pilih lah untuk rakan kita, pilih untuk moderatekan. Lepas tu dekat JPU tu tadi, kita kena ubah lah balik lah. LO mana nak capai, macam tu saja. From Dr. Nick, sebabnya the confusion kat sini, kalau FE, final exam jadi final assessment, kena higher order question juga. Example essay, MCQ semua tak boleh. Dia sebenarnya tak, kalau dia macam ni, kalau dia ni menjadi continuous assessment, dia bukannya final exam, sebenarnya sebab tu saya tak galakkan, kalau saya lah personally, sebab kalau kita tengok MQA perkeliling MQA hari tu sebenarnya kita fall on MQA. MQA bagi kita 3 option sebenarnya, 3 option. Option yang pertama adalah untuk kita melaksanakan peperiksaan secara dalam talian. Iaitu maksudnya kalau peperiksaan akhir itu 30%, dia suruh kita buat peperiksaan itu secara dalam talian. Bila secara dalam talian, maka dia menggalakkan kita untuk untuk construct soalan kita tadi dengan kita embedkan soalan-soalan yang mempunyai higher order thinking skill lah, atau KBAT tadi tu kalau di sekolah rendah. So maknanya soalan itu misalnya soalan-soalan yang budak tidak boleh menjawab secara literal menggunakan nota, maknanya budak kena fikir, iaitu lebih pada analysis and all those. Itu kalau kita nak gunakan final exam. Dan mereka menggalakkan, UTM pula menggalakkan untuk kita buat open book, open book exam. Okey. Option kedua yang MQA bagi pada kita adalah untuk kita membuat continuous assessment, iaitu tidak melaksanakan peperiksaan akhir tetapi menggantikan final exam itu kepada bentuk-bentuk formative assessment yang lain. Contohnya tambahkan assignment, tambahkan lab assessment ke, tambahkan project, final project, and all those. Itu satu. Yang kedua. Yang ketiga adalah, kalau siapa yang baca perkeliling MQA yang ketiga tu, dia kata jika formative assessment dalam sudah mencukupi 70%, lebih daripada 70%, dia kata you tak perlu pun add another 30% untuk buat continuous assessment ataupun untuk membuat final exam. Sebenarnya cukuplah dengan 70% tadi, sebab dia lebih separuh, dah 70%. Dia kata dan cubalah daripada 70% tu you buat grading, iaitu dengan cara normalization. Itu sebenarnya. Tetapi di UTM kita tidak, saya rasa kebanyakan fakulti tidak ambil option yang ketiga tu. dia ambil option yang pertama, sama ada nak buat online examination, ataupun yang kedua iaitu untuk buat continuous assessment. Itu yang saya difahamkan lah. Tetapi continuous assessment tak semestinya ada ujian akhir macam bentuk peperiksaan. It can be totally, contohnya lah ada pensyarah di departmen saya, dia tak nak ada ujian akhir macam bentuk exam tu. Dia gantikan dia dengan 3 set of assignment. 10%, 10%, 10%. So dia buatlah 3 tu dan dia justify lah untuk capture LO mana. Macam tu lah. Adakah saya menjawab soalan tu?
Okey, peserta yang lain ada soalan tak?
Okey, apa bezanya antara final assessment dengan continuous assessment? Now, ujian akhir, dipanggil final assessment tu adalah ujian akhir dan dia macam ni. Ujian akhir tu mungkin dalam bentuk macam soalan peperiksaan di ujian akhir atau final assessment, dia adalah tergolong dalam continuous assessment. Dia masih lagi kita longgokkan dia dalam CA. Kita declare dia sebagai CA. So, apakah elemen-elemen CA? Okey, di dalam CA tu continuous assessment kita boleh ada assignment, kita boleh ada lab assessment, kita boleh ada projek, final project ke, mini project ke, kita juga boleh ada ujian akhir yang berbentuk macam soalan. Itu dia adalah di dalam kelompok CA. FE, final examination, dia fall di dalam peraturan peperiksaan akhir. Macam tu. Yang di mana kata soalan perlu di-vetting, dia kena pergi melalui BPA proses dia kena kena ada prosedur yang lain, SOP yang lain macam tu. Jadi final assessment itu adalah sebenarnya di dalam continuous assessment itu adalah besar. Yang dipanggil induk dia. Di dalam CA itu adalah ada final assessment, ada lab assessment, ada assignment, ada project, ada mini project, whatever yang tidak melibatkan final exam. Yang mana dia tidak jatuh di bawah peraturan peperiksaan akhir. Ya. Boleh ya? Dr. Nick? Okay, ada lagi? Okay, kalau kita bagi soalan essay contohnya, kita bagi masa 24 jam, macam mana nak kira SLT pelajar? Okay, macam ni. Ini untuk kita masukkan dia di dalam penggantian final exam ke ataupun dia dalam dia punya coursework saja, Dr. Nick? Okey, ini untuk ganti final Okey, kalau kita nak ganti final dan kita nak bagi soalan essay contohnya soalan essay tadi tu dan kita nak kira macam kita nak kira SLT pelajar kan. Okey, kalau soalan adakah sekarang soalan essay tu satu saja dan nak dibagikan 30%? Okey, berapa markah final examnya? Okey, 30%. Okey, now kita tengok adakah sebenarnya kalau kita nak bagi soalan essay kepada pelajar tadi dan kita nak menggantikan, dia nak satu saja dan dia akan menggantikan 30% tadi dan kita bagi 24 jam masa macam mana nak kira SLT tadi. Okey. Now, go back kepada dalam kiraan SLT, you punya teaching plan, tengok independent study pelajar untuk final exam berapa? Final exam 30% untuk that particular courses berapa dia punya face to face, doktor? Tengok yang tu dulu. Kalau exam dia adalah 2 jam, 2 jam atau 2 jam setengah atau 3 jam, lepas tu you nak dan markah dia adalah 30%. Dan you nak gantikan dia dengan satu soalan kalau kita nak gantikan satu bentuk soalan essay kan. Dan kita 24 jam, maka satu soalan essay tu sebenarnya doktor tak cukup lah. Dia tak cukup untuk menggantikan 30%. Sebab satu soalan essay, roughly satu soalan essay berapa muka surat? 2 muka surat, 3 muka surat. Dan kalau kita nak ambil dia 24 jam untuk dia menjawab sebab dia open book pun sebenarnya saya rasa tak cukup. Sekurang-kurangnya kalau nak buat soalan essay untuk menggantikan 30%, saya cadangkan at least you buat 3 soalan essay. Jadi SLT-nya you boleh tautim baliklah dengan 2 jam final exam tadi. Ada lagi? Yes, dia kena equivalent kepada 2 jam tadi, 2 jam peperiksaan dia lah. Selepas sebab kan dalam peperiksaan akhir pun ada independent study-nya kan. So itu masukkan dulu, kira dulu sekali. Kan sebab dia kalau kalau 24 jam tu kita bagi masa dia panjang kan. Jadi kena ni lah. Tak boleh lah untuk yang 30% tu tak boleh. Dia kena ada more than that lah. Ataupun kadang ada lecturer kan dia nak totally nak gantikan 30% tadi dalam bentuk mini thesis contohnya kan, mini dissertation. Selalu mini dissertation tebal sikit kan, ada berapa muka surat, then kita yang that one kita boleh equivalentkan masa yang dia ambil lah, mini dissertation tadi. Okey. Untuk CA perlu dilakukan dalam tempoh minggu pengajaran atau boleh buat masa study week. Bagi saya sebenarnya boleh dibuat dalam masa study week. Sebenarnya tak isu. Dia macam ni. Ramai orang confuse, dia kata kan itu study week pelajar. Macam mana kenapa kita nak dia kena belajar. Tetapi bila kita dah tak ada final exam, sebenarnya budak dah tak perlu nak menduduki final exam, betul tak? Dia adalah continuous assessment. Jadi kalau minggu ke-15 tadi kita nak suruh dia buat assignment ke apa semua pun tak kisahlah sebab dia dah tak ada minggu peperiksaan, dia tak nak duduk exam pun kata. Jadi boleh buat. Even saya sendiri, saya personally, saya justify kenapa saya punya continuous assessment tu akan berlaku sampai minggu ke-15 iaitu study week dia. Tetapi continuous assessment yang lain, contoh macam assignment kan. Assignment yang saya nak buat tu saya buat dalam within minggu ke-14 tau. So sampai 14 tu memang itu yang saya tambah. So kalau kita tengok tu sebenarnya memang saya habiskan saya punya continuous assessment minggu ke-14 kecuali untuk disubmit ujian akhir yang 20% tu, iaitu saya lakukan pada minggu ke-15 iaitu pada study week dia. So negotiation with the student is also important lah. Yeah. So dengan ISO tak ada isu, yang itu tak ada isu. You cuma kena documentedkan dia saja. Documentedkan kenapa benda tu berlaku pada minggu-minggu tersebut begitu saja. Ya. Dia sebenarnya ISO ni dia tak susah. Dia kata document what you do and do do whatever you documented kan. Itu je sebenarnya ISO. Yang jadi persoalan dia sebenarnya adalah tentang MQA, akreditasi. Tapi MQA dah tak ada pun rules tu. MQA kata dia kata be creative in constructing you punya assessment tadi, supaya yang penting MQA kata as long as integrity, accountability, markah tadi tidak boleh dipertikaikan, gitulah. Yes, kalau macam di FTMK Dr. Diana, kita di FTMK dia ada struktur dia dalam bentuk dokumentasi dia. Itu contohnya macam assignment pun kita kena buat moderasi. Tapi dia tak seteruk macam final exam lah. Moderasi tu cuma tulis, okey, soalan assignment ni yang untuk 10% menggantikan final exam ni tadi dengan soalan assignment ni tadi justify tak dengan markah yang nak bagi 10%, itu saja pun. Dan soalannya mencapai tak learning outcome yang disetkan dalam DPU tu, itu saja.
Dr. Zul, saya nak tanya, untuk CA perlu vetting soalan tak?
Sorry?
Untuk CA, Continuous Assessment, perlu vetting soalan tak?
Dia kita tak panggil vetting lah sebenarnya. Kita panggil buat moderasi saja. Kalau contohnya assignment ataupun ujian akhir itu mungkin dalam bentuk soalan, you tak perlu melalui proses vetting yang formal macam final exam. Mungkin TDA dan Dr. Fauzi boleh arahkan untuk contoh macam Dr. Linda kan. You ada kawan kan, you ada lecturer macam Dr. Zain ke, dia nak minta Dr. Zain moderate kan. Create satu bentuk macam borang yang you pakai tadi tu, dan mungkin you pakai borang you sendiri yang you digunakan untuk moderate tu saja. Tapi kena kepilkan perubahan GPU final exam yang you nak ubah tadi tu, LO apa you nak capai, dan minta dia moderatekan saja soalan tu. Dia tak perlu ada vetting yang orang kata very rigorous lah. Just orang kata moderate aja. Okay, yes, design mengatakan bahawa soalan assignment ini justify dengan markahnya, sesuai digunakan sebagai penggantian kepada 10% daripada 30% final exam, and so on, macam tu je lah. Dan saya itu je.
Okey, doktor. Okey, ada soalan lain tak untuk Dr. Zulisman?
Ada soalan lain?
Okey, rasa tak ada soalan lagi. So, terima kasih kepada Dr. Zulisman di atas informasi yang diberikan. So, tentang PTG, PTS, SMR model, ID, AD model dan juga tips-tips yang lain. So harap kita semua akan cerdik pandai selepas sesi ini. So saya berharap Dr. Zulisman boleh beri ceramah jika diperlukan pada masa hadapan untuk PBI atau untuk SKP yang akan datang.
Boleh, no problem, boleh.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Zulisman.
Thank you very much for having me today. I hope ini bukanlah satu orang kata apa, orang kata, I know this is a challenge lah sebenarnya, tapi anggaplah bahawa COVID-19 is just at the top of the iceberg. Sebenarnya masalah orang kata cabaran masa depan lah yang kita akan hadapi. Kalau kita tengok sekarang ni, the next year cabaran kita tak tahu lagi. Economic downturn, when people are unable to come to university to study, di mana banyak isu-isu sosial akan berlaku, banyaklah orang-orang kehilangan kerja, economic recovery perlukan masa. Jadi transformasi dalam sistem pendidikan secara maya ini, saya rasa inilah masanya untuk kita, orang kata, we try, to strive our best to deliver our content. We already, orang kata, take the oath to be an academician. We are part of the nation building sebenarnya in terms of the human capital. Jadi saya harap inilah peluang untuk semua academician dekat UTM untuk orang kata cuba berusaha untuk buat semampu yang baik dan pastikan bahawa LMS, ULearn ataupun bahan pengajaran tadi tidak diisi dengan kosong kerana pelajar kita ni sekarang ni memang kita beri kebebasan untuk mereka bersuara kan. Jadi kita kalau boleh janganlah sampai nama kita naik kerana bad reputation, tapi biarlah nama kita on top of there disebut-sebut kerana our good reputation lah oleh pelajar. So thank you very much. InsyaAllah I'll see you again. Please do not hesitate to contact me anytime. Kalau ada masa ke lapangan dan kalau diperlukan, boleh. And if individually you want to meet me, saya sentiasa ada di PSTP untuk memberi tunjuk ajar apa sahaja yang diperlukan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Zul.